Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto has Amaterasu Zanpakuto part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. On a normal day in Karakura town, a person is seen standing on top of a building looking over the city. This person has lightly tanned skin, spiky, blonde hair, 3 whisker marks on each cheek, and cerulean blue eyes. He's wearing a black high collar, long sleeve coat that ends at his bandage wrapped shins with a red swirl symbol on the back, bandage wrappings around his waist, baggy orange pants, and black shinobi sandals. Imagine an alternate version of Obito's outfit from the Fourth Great Ninja War. On his waist is a katana with a hilt wrapped in red cloth with a normal black diamond pattern. The bronze guard is round with 6 tomo circling around the blade, which was held inside a red sheath with a black flame pattern. This person is Naruto Uzumaki, the eternal Rikido Sennin, holder of all 9 Bijuu, and hero of the Fourth Great Ninja War. Ever since the war's end, Naruto had traveled the world for a millennia, meeting new people, discovering new places, and living a life in solitude. It's not that he wanted to leave his friends or loved ones, or even give up his dream, but what was the point of being the leader of a village if everyone you love ages and dies while you live on? So, he decided to travel the world after his loved ones passed on. Over time, he had slowly developed the ability to see and interact with the dearly departed. During his times with monks, Buddhists, and even other sages, he had also learned of the people who help guide these spirits to the other side, known as Shinigami. However, he had also learned about other beings known as hollows, spirits who were human at one point before they became the masked beasts. He once recalled watching Shinigami fight off hollows with swords that he learned were called Zanpakuto, the only weapon that could counteract a hollow, or purify them, as Shinigami say. So, while he was traveling, he looked into his soul to try and gain a Zanpakuto of his own, to which the Bijuu said was very possible with his power, and afterwards, he soon received the weapon, which has been at his side ever since. He also was able to sense and use what his Zanpakuto spirit called Ryatsu. Later on in life, Naruto had trained with his Zanpakuto and gained what it had called Shikai, and much later Bankai. Now, Naruto was here in Karakura town, wanting to take a little break from his traveling for a while. He just arrived to town and had a plan made for himself. Since he looked to be a teenager, he would attend a high school to keep a low profile, and he would also buy an apartment to stay at until he was ready to move on again. Now, one might ask where he got his money. Since he never aged, he started writing and selling his godfather's books Icha Icha Paradise a few years back, which became a big seller right away. He wrote down his experiences with women that he met over his lifetime, which was better than the smut that his godfather used to write. His stories were art. Though, he never put his real name on the cover, he went by his godfather's name, in remembrance of the old pervert. Now, back to the matter at hand. So, this is Karakura town. Seems like a nice place. I wonder what I can do first before looking for an apartment. Naruto wondered aloud before his stomach grumbled. Well, that answers that question. Food first. Naruto soon began jumping from rooftop to rooftop, being careful not to be seen by anyone in windows or down below. He soon found just the thing he was looking for, a place that serves ramen. Before he went in, he landed in an alley and used a seal inside his sleeve to change his clothes into something more modern. A black shirt, orange hoodie, blue jeans, and white tennis shoes. He sealed away his Zanpakuto into another seal in his sleeve. When he walked in, he was greeted to the smell of delicious foods and walked to the bar. "What will it be, sir?" a woman asked kindly. 15 bowls of miso ramen please." Naruto answered cheerfully, making the woman balk at his answer. Why you know that's going to be expensive, right sir?" she asked, trying to regain her composure. "Oh, it's no trouble for me. I have more than enough to pay for all of them," Naruto stated. "Oh okay, that'll be ready right away then sir," the woman said before walking off to tell the cook. Later, the woman had returned with Naruto's order and he soon ate all 15 bowls of ramen in a world record-breaking time, much to the surprise of the woman, and paid for them before thanking her for the meal and leaving. That was some good ramen. Not as good as Ichiraku's though, but good nonetheless," Naruto said as he walked off. Much later, night has fallen over Karakura town. Naruto managed to find a very decent apartment and got himself set up after paying the landowner for a year's worth already. Right now, he was just sitting on his new couch resting after getting his place set up. Now that my place is fixed up, I need to work on making school transfer forms. I'll worry about those tomorrow though. For now, I wonder what's on TV. Naruto stated before turning on the flat screen he bought, the news being the first channel. Earlier today, an unexplained explosion was seen prior to last night's gas explosion. Police and forensics experts are saying the two anomalies are related, but have yet to determine the cause of either one. The news reporter said as images of said explosions are shown. As Naruto looked at the images, he saw more clearly that neither damage was caused by an explosion, but a hollow. There soon came a video from an eyewitness's cell phone, showing the explosion and people running for their lives, but an orange-haired teen caught his attention. The teen was obviously running from something else and not the alleged explosion. Obviously the kid is running from the hollow that appeared, meaning he must be able to see it. He must be spiritually aware of the dearly departed too, interesting. Naruto thought before a strong Ryatsu appeared out of nowhere. What the hell? Where did this Ryatsu come from? Not wasting any time, Naruto jumped out the window and headed for the location the Ryatsu was coming from. He soon arrived at a small clinic. Looking on, Naruto saw the orange-haired teen from the news, now wearing standard Shinigami Shihakusho with a brown belt across his midsection, with a large sheath on his back and a large Zanpakuto with the appearance of a katana on his shoulder. He also saw a girl in a white robe sitting on the ground and a large hollow, which was facing the teen. "This ends now." The teen yelled before he and the hollow charged each other. The hollow tried to step on him, but the teen dodged and cut off its leg, making the hollow start falling toward him, the teen raising his sword over his head. "You will pay the price for hurting my family, you hollow scum. Feel the wrath of my blade." The teen yelled as he brought the sword down, cutting the hollow down the middle and making it disappear into Reishi. The teen soon after collapsed and passed out on the ground. Naruto was impressed by the power the teen displayed. It might not be near his level, but it was definitely nothing to laugh at. Naruto was about to go and help the boy and girl before feeling someone to his right and looked to see a man with dirty blonde hair wearing a green and white bucket hat. Well, I come to see what's going on, and I find not only a boy who's gained Shinigami powers, but also another spiritually aware person, considering that you can see me right now," the man said calmly. "Since you know I'm spiritually aware, I'm going to assume you're not human. Who are you?" Naruto asked, making the man grin. "My name is Kisuke Urahara, and you are?" The now named Kisuke asked. "Naruto Uzumaki. Nice to meet you, Mr. Hat and Clogs," Naruto answered, making Kisuke sweat drop at the nickname the blonde gave him. "Well Naruto, I'd love to talk more with you, but right now, I need to assist those two. If you don't mind, could you lend me hand?" Kisuke asked, getting a nod from Naruto. Later, after Kisuke put the boy named Ichigo Kurosaki back in his body and into bed, along with his little sisters, and Naruto healed the girl named Rukia Kichiki, they followed Kisuke. As they're walking, Naruto couldn't help noticing Rukia staring at him the whole time. "You know it's rude to stare at people, right?" Naruto asked, making Rukia stutter at being caught. Sorry, it's just that I wasn't expecting to see two other Shinigami here," Rukia said honestly. "Firstly, me and him just met. Second, I'm not a Shinigami. I'm very much human," Naruto stated, surprising the short Shinigami. Before Rukia could think to voice her confusion, they all arrived at a candy shop. "Welcome to my shop," Kisuke announced cheerfully, making the two raise a brow at him. "What? It's a candy shop," Naruto said simply, but had a feeling he understood the reason behind the shop's appearance. "But of course, I'm just a humble shopkeeper after all," Kisuke said, waving a small paper fan in front of his face and making them sweat drop. The door to the shop then opened, revealing a muscular man with glasses. "Ah, Mr. Urahara, welcome back. How did the man stopped at seeing Naruto and Rukia. I see, I'll go get some tea ready for our guests then." They soon entered the shop and sat at a table, to which the man that they learned was named Tessai Tsukubishi put a cup of tea out for everyone. After everyone thanked him, he walked off, leaving the three in a short silence before Kisuke spoke. "So, Miss Kichiki, mind explaining exactly what happened?" Kisuke asked, getting said person's attention. Naruto listened closely, curious as to what happened with her and Ichigo as well. "Well, I would have to start from the beginning. As per my orders, I was stationed here in Karakura town to cleanse any hollows that appeared. However, whilst I was sending a lost soul to the Soul Society, I encountered an unexpected anomaly," Rukia began. "By unexpected anomaly you mean Ichigo, correct?" Kisuke asked. "Yes. As it would seem, he had the ability to see spirits but was somehow interfering with me sensing the hollow that appeared. It attacked us and I was too injured to fight it after saving Ichigo from having his soul devoured. So, in order for us all to survive, I offered him my Shinigami powers," Rukia stated before looking down in sadness. "Unfortunately, though the process was only supposed to be temporary, he absorbed all of my power into him, thus leaving me powerless and unable to return to the Soul Society." "I see, that explains quite a bit. In that case, allow me to offer you something." "A Gigai," Kisuke stated, surprising Rukia and confusing Naruto. "What's a Gigai?" Naruto asked, making Kisuke turn to him. "It's a temporary body that a Shinigami uses to either interact with a living or, in Rukia's case, reside in until their powers return," Kisuke explained, getting a nod from his fellow blonde. Rukia thought about the shopkeeper's offer for a moment before nodding in agreement. Very well Mr. Urahara, I will take you up on your offer. A gigai would at least be efficient for the time being, will my powers return. Rukia stated, getting a nod from the shopkeeper before Naruto spoke up. Speaking of which, what are you going to do with Ichigo now that he has your powers? Naruto asked, making Rukia turn to him. Simple, since Ichigo has my powers now, he'll have to take up my Shinigami responsibilities until my powers return. Rukia answered confidently, making Naruto sweat drop. And you really think he'll agree to that? Naruto asked dryly. Of course, he's a Shinigami now, so he has to take up my duties as one whether he likes it or not. Rukia stated simply. Naruto wanted to speak more, but Kisuke's cough got them to turn back to him. I'm sure you two can argue over the matter another time, but for now, I believe we're both curious about you now Naruto. Kisuke said, waving his fan in front of his face. Yes, I suppose you are. Boy, it's been so long since I told anyone about myself that I don't even know where to begin. Naruto said while rubbing his head. Well, you guys seem pretty trustworthy, so I guess that I might as well start from the beginning. My life started in a village known as Konoha. So, Naruto told them all about his life. The attack on his village by a mind-controlled Kurama before he was sealed inside of him after his birth. The pain and hatred he put up with as he grew up. The friends and enemies turned friends that he had made and lost over time. The challenges he had fought and overcame as he grew stronger. He even told them about the things that he went through in the Fourth Great Ninja War and all of the stuff he had done after it was over. By the end of his life story, to say that Kisuke and Rukia were gobsmacked would have been the biggest understatement of the year. So, you're immortal. Just how old are you? Rukia asked, surprised that a human could live as long as a Shinigami. Firstly, I'm not immortal, I'm eternal. I can't die from old age, but I still need to eat, drink, and sleep. And I can still be killed. Ask for my age, I'm over 916 years old. Naruto answered like it was the most obvious thing in the world, completely oblivious to the two Shinigami's shocked expressions. 916 years old. That's almost as old as the head captain. The two mentally yelled in unison. Alright, so let me see if we have this correct. You're an eternal being, have godly powers, can't see Shinigami and hollows, uses Zanpakuto and other powers, which use an energy known as chakra, and to top it all off, you have 9 beasts with unimaginable power called Biju sealed inside of you? Kisuke questioned, wanting to make sure he got everything right. Yep, that would be it. Naruto answered cheerfully. That is amazing. Your life alone would make a world-renowned story that could make you millions. Kisuke yelled out, impressed with his fellow blonde. That may be, but I question some of it. Rukia said skeptically. Fighting hollows is one thing, but having faced people with multiple hearts, immortality, godly powers, and even an evil goddess. I find it all to be impossible. Well, that's the thing with me Rukia, I tend to be able to make the impossible very possible. It's just one of my amazing traits that I was born with. Naruto said honestly. Perhaps, but even someone like you should know when to give up. You can't save everyone. Rukia said the last part quietly, sadly remembering a certain black-haired comrade of hers. Naruto noticed her sad look, but refused to comment on it, believing that it's best not to open up old wounds. Beyond as much as I'm sure you both have even more questions, I think it's about time for us to get some sleep. Naruto stated, standing up. I guess you're right, especially since you two have school tomorrow. Kisuke stated, surprising the two. School? Rukia questioned. Yes, you need to hide in plain sight until your powers return, and since you'll be in a gigai, you'll have to go to school since you look like a teen. Ask for Naruto, his plan was to hide in plain sight by going to high school to begin with, so this is basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Not to mention that this will help you keep a watchful eye on Ichigo Rukia. Kisuke explained, getting understanding nods from the both of them. Also, you might want to read up on how humans act Rukia. Yes, thank you for your help Mr. Urahara, I appreciate it. Rukia stated before heading to a back room to rest for the night. I'm guessing that you still have more questions for me then, right Mr. Hat and Clogs? Naruto asked, already knowing the answer to that. Yes, I do. As you can well imagine, I'm curious to learn more about you Naruto, but for now, I'll be satisfied with what I've learned so far. Kisuke answered. If you don't mind, could you come by tomorrow, so as I can see some of your abilities in action? Sounds fair to me, but I want to know more about you and Tessai as well. Naruto stated, surprising Kisuke before he got over his shock. I see, so you figured out that me and Tessai are both from the Soul Society huh? Kisuke asked. Yes. It's hard to miss the fact that you both are Shinigami, but I don't understand why you're here in the world of the living and not the Soul Society. If you'd please tell me, I would be willing to help you. Naruto stated, making Kisuke sigh before nodding. It's a long story, but I'm not the only one who should tell you about it. Just wait until tomorrow after school lets out and I'll tell you what you want to know then. I need to make some calls to some friends before I can explain what you wish to know. Kisuke explained, Naruto nodding in agreement. Very well, I understand perfectly. In that case, see you tomorrow hat and clogs. Naruto said before disappearing in a swirl of leaves, leaving a grinning Kisuke. My, it seems things are going to get very interesting around here. First a teen that becomes a Shinigami and then a powerful sage appears. I wonder how Yorichi will react when she meets him. Kisuke wondered before going to get Rukia her Gigai and make her and Naruto fake school papers, along with calling up Yorichi and Shinji. The next day, Naruto woke up to the early morning sun and got up from his bed, yawning while stretching. He then created a shadow clone to make breakfast while he went to the bathroom to shower, brush his teeth, and etc. He soon walked out of the bathroom and walked into the kitchen and saw that his shadow clone had cooked eggs, bacon, and toast with a glass of orange juice. All placed on the table. Hey boss, a package came for you, courtesy of Hat and Clogs. The shadow clone stated, pointing to a package on the counter. It must be my school papers and uniform. Thanks, you can dispel now. Naruto stated, getting a nod from the clone before it dispersed. Naruto opened the package and saw that it was a gray jacket and pants. He also saw the fake transfer papers underneath and quickly read over them to see what his backstory would be and nodded in approval before sitting down and ate. After eating breakfast, Naruto put on his uniform but left the jacket open before locking up his apartment and heading to the school that he was supposed to attend. Karakura High School. Naruto soon arrived at the school and was currently making his way through the hall, looking for the class he was in. Though, he noticed that a lot of girls were eyeing him with hearts in their eyes and some guys didn't look too pleased about that. Well, now I know how it feels to be Sasuke when we were in the academy. Geez, did I really look like the guys here when I had that silly crush on Sakura? Naruto mused to himself, a bit embarrassed at the memory. As he's walking, a noise soon grabs his attention. Ichigo. A brown-haired teen yelled, running top speed towards Naruto. Naruto didn't even turn around before simply ducking down, making the teen fly right over him and into a wall before falling on his back with swirls in his eyes. Okay, that was unexpected. Naruto thought with a sweat drop as he looked at the guy. Hey, you alright pal? The teen shook his head to get rid of the dizziness from the impact before getting a better look at the one he thought was Ichigo, but was really a blonde guy that he didn't recognize. He quickly jumped up and started apologizing. I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else. The teen exclaimed in embarrassment, making Naruto chuckle. It's okay. I'm sure anyone could make the same mistake. The name's Naruto Uzumaki and you are? Naruto asked politely. Kigo Asano, nice to meet you Naruto. You must be new here, right? The now named Kigo asked. Yep, I just transferred here. Right now though, I'm looking for my homeroom class. I don't suppose you can help me? Naruto asked, holding up his school schedule for Kigo to see. Oh yeah, I know where that is. That's my homeroom class too. Just follow me man. Kigo stated, leading Naruto down the hall and into the classroom. When they entered, Naruto took in the students around him before his eyes landed on Rukia, who was wearing the school's uniform for girls. She saw him too and gave him the I'm watching you gesture, making Naruto raise a brow. What was that? Is that supposed to scare me or something? Naruto thought dryly. Naruto then noticed two people walking towards him and Kigo. One was a black-haired teen, while the other was a tall Mexican. Hey there Kigo, who's your friend? The black-haired teen asked. He's a new student. Kigo answered, letting them step up to Naruto. It's a pleasure to meet you I'm Mizuru Kojima. The now named Mizuru introduced. Nice to meet you, I'm Yasutora Sato, but most people call me Chad. The now nicknamed Chad introduced. It's nice to meet you Mizuru Chad, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto introduced, shaking their hands. Oh, so you're a new student too. Well, so is Miss Kichiki over there. Mizuru said, pointing to Rukia, who waved at them. Before Naruto could say anything, Ichigo walked in and sat at his desk, making Chad, Kigo, and Mizuru walk up to him. Hey Ichigo, I heard a truck crashed into your house last night, are you okay dude? Kigo asked. Yeah, we're fine. Ichigo answered. So, did you clean it all up yet? Mizuru asked. What are you, crazy? It's gonna take all day. Ichigo said. Anything I can do to help? Chad asked, making Ichigo look up at him. No, that's okay Chad. Ichigo answered. Yeah Chad, you could wind up bringing the whole place down, you know. Kigo joked before remembering Naruto and turned to Ichigo. Oh, I'd also like you to meet a new student Ichigo. Ichigo looked at Kigo confused before looking in front of him to see an unfamiliar blonde with whisker marks smiling at him. Nice to meet you, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said, holding out his hand. Ichigo Kurosaki, nice to meet you Naruto. Ichigo said, shaking his hand. Strawberry. That's pretty cute name. Naruto said, making a tick mark appear on Ichigo's forehead. Like you're one to talk, fish cake. Ichigo said back, making a tick mark appear on Naruto's forehead. They narrowed their eyes at each other before laughing, shocking everyone around them. Everyone thought Ichigo was about to get into a fight with a new guy, but to see them laughing together was not expected. Haha, you're alright Ichigo. Naruto said. Haha, yeah, you too. Ichigo said, not noticing Rukia walking up behind him. Hi there, you must be Ichigo. Rukia said kindly, making said person turn to her before a shocked expression appeared on his face. My name's Rukia Kichiki, nice to meet you. I'll be sitting next to you from now on. Rukia's another new student. Mizuro stated. Nice to meet ya. Kigo said. It's you. Ichigo exclaimed in surprise, confusing his friends, minus Naruto. The old cute and innocent girl act huh? I like it, especially considering she only learned it in one night. Naruto thought, trying not to laugh at Ichigo's reaction. You two know each other Ichigo? Chad asked. Of course not, we've only just met. Rukia stated before extending her hand out for only Ichigo to see, which had make a scene and you are dead. Written on it, freaking Ichigo out. Now Naruto was really having a hard time not laughing at Rukia's hidden threat, which was directed at Ichigo before said Carrot Top dragged Rukia out of the classroom. Afterwards, the class was being taught by their teacher, Miss Achi. Since Naruto knew all of the stuff being taught already, he was relaxing, whilst a genjutsu was placed on him to make him look like he was listening. He then looked out the window and saw Ichigo in his Shinigami form and Rukia running off from the school, no doubt to deal with a hollow. I wonder if Ichigo will show Rukia that he's nothing like any Shinigami she's ever met. Heh, only time will tell. Naruto thought before taking a small nap. Urahara shop. Later after school, Naruto walked to Kisuke's shop where he saw two kids in the front. One was a black-haired girl who was sweeping the deck. The other was a red-haired boy who was lying on the ground lazily. These kids were Jinta Hanakari and Yoruru Tsumijiya. Yoruru then noticed Naruto, who smiled at her as he walked up to them. Hello there, is Kisuke Urahara in? Naruto asked kindly. Yes he is sir, do you want me to get him for you? Yoruru asked. That's okay, I'm sure he's expecting me already. Naruto stated, walking inside. When Naruto entered, he saw Kisuke Tessai, a black cat, and a blonde man with a toothy grin sitting around the table. Hello there Naruto, I'm glad you could make it. Kisuke started before gesturing toward the cat and other blonde. Naruto, I'd like you to meet Yoruichi Shimin and Shinji Hirako. Nice to meet you. Shinji said, giving his fellow blonde a wave. Yes it is. Kisuke has told us much about you. Yoruichi spoke in a male voice, making Naruto look at him with an eye twitch. First off, it's nice to meet you both as well. Second, if we're going to have a normal conversation, you need to drop the cat appearance Yoruichi. Naruto said, shocking everyone around him. My, you saw through my disguise so easily. I must say, that's impressive. Yoruichi said before a grin, not that you could notice it, appeared on his cat face. Very well, this is my true form. Light appeared around Yoruichi's body, slightly blinding the entire room's occupants. When the light faded, in the place of the cat was a slender, dark-skinned woman with golden-colored eyes and long purple, waist-length hair. The most noticeable thing about her though was that she was completely naked, showing off her E-cup breasts with dark and shaven womanhood. Well, what do you think of my true form handsome? Yoruichi asked, ready to laugh at the blonde's reaction. Kisuke, Tessai and Shinji ready to do the same. However, all of them, Yoruichi most of all, were shocked to see Naruto just look Yoruichi up and down before looking her in the eyes. I think you look downright beautiful. A lot better than your cat form. Naruto said honestly, actually causing a pink hue to dust Yoruichi's cheeks. He didn't react as I thought he would. Is he more mature than I thought? Yoruichi mentally questioned before getting over her shock to speak. Why you're not reacting the way I thought you would? Most people who see me naked usually react negatively. Like perverts getting thrown back by nosebleeds or something. Yoruichi said, confused by the blonde not reacting the same way. Why would I react negatively to see such a beautiful woman, who I'm sure is every man's wet dream? I've been with plenty of women intimately over time, so seeing a beautiful woman naked isn't anything new to me. Naruto said truthfully, impressing Yoruichi before she walked off to put some clothes on. Yoruichi soon returned, now with her hair up in a ponytail while wearing a black backless sleeveless undershirt, an orange overshirt with two white straps on each shoulder, a large beige sash around her waist, and black stretch pants with a pair of lightweight brown shoes, a beige neck warmer, long beige wrist and leg warmers, each secured by bands. So, since you guys know everything about me, I think that it's only fair that you tell me about yourselves. Naruto began, getting nods from everyone. Very well. Shinji. Kisuke asked, getting a nod from the blonde. Our story begins 100 years ago, Shinji began. So, Shinji, Kisuke, Yoruchi and Tessai all explained to the blonde that while Shinji and several others were investigating the disappearance of Shinigami in the Soul Society, they were attacked by their comrades, who were hellofied by a man named Sumsuke Aizen and his counterparts, Jin Ichimaru and Kanam Tmsen. Before Aizen could finish off Shinji and his friends, Kisuke and Tessai arrived and saved their lives. Unfortunately, Aizen, Jin, and Tmsen had escaped. Shinji and his friends were all hellofied and sentenced to death by Central 46, and Kisuke was accused of being the one responsible for what happened to them. However, Yoruchi came and helped free Shinji and the rest from their fate, but were forced to leave the Soul Society forever. Upon arriving in the world of the living, Kisuke and Tessai set up a candy shop to stay in hiding. Yoruchi had gone elsewhere, and Shinji's group went into hiding and named themselves the Wizards, Shinigami that gained hollow powers. By the end of it, Naruto was angry. So that's why you guys are here, huh? All because of a manipulative bastard and rules of a corrupt system. That's just wrong. Naruto stated in anger. Indeed, and from what Kisuke told us from your life, you can imagine how angry we were as well. Shinji said, knowing that Naruto was more than familiar with the situation. Yes. And even as we speak, Aizen is no doubt still playing the entire Gate 13 for fools. Tessai said in irritation. In that case, if I should ever meet this Sumsuke Aizen, I promise you all that I will make him pay for forcing you to leave your home behind. No one should be used as pawns for a madman's goal. Naruto stated, getting small smiles from everyone. Thank you, Naruto. Now, I believe you still owe us a demonstration of what you can do. If you'll follow me. Kisuke said, leading Naruto and the rest down a trapdoor. Underground training area. When they got to the bottom of the trapdoor, Naruto was speechless at what he was seeing. The entire area was a desert-themed environment that stretched for miles with large boulders and rocks protruding from various places, a few dead trees here and there, and an endless blue sky. Well, what do you think of my hidden training ground? Impressive, right? Kisuke asked with a grin as he waved his paper fan in front of his face. This place is amazing. Talk about the perfect training environment. Naruto exclaimed before calming down and walking forward before facing the four. So, you want a demonstration of my powers, huh? Alright, which one of you wants to spar against me? Yoruchi grinned before stepping forward and getting into her fighting position. I'll be your opponent, Foxy. Show me what you've got. Yoruchi said, making Naruto grin back before using a seal in his jacket sleeve to change from his school uniform into his shinobi outfit and getting into his own fighting position. As you wish, kitten. Naruto said, making Yoruchi blush at the nickname. From the sidelines. Kisuke, Tessai, and Shinji watched in anticipation to see what would happen. Naruto and Yoruchi stared at each other, waiting for the other to make the first move. The first to move was Yoruchi, who shunpoed behind Naruto, aiming an axe kick for his head. Naruto saw this and dodged to the side, letting Yoruchi hit the spot where he was. Leaf whirlwind. Naruto yelled, spinning and sending a high kick toward Yoruchi's head, only for her to duck, but got kicked in the chest by his other foot, sending her flying into one of the boulders. Yoruchi quickly recovered before running at him. Just as she was about to punch, she shunpoed to Naruto's right, forcing him to block the punch. Yoruchi then followed up with a high kick that connected with Naruto's face. Before Yoruchi could even smirk though, Naruto dispersed into smoke, surprising the perplexed. Where did he go? Yoruchi questioned mentally, looking for Naruto in all directions before a shadow loomed over her, making her look up to see Naruto go through several hand signs. Fire style. Phoenix flower jutsu. Naruto yelled, shooting multiple fireballs from his mouth. Yoruchi quickly shunpoed out of the way, letting the fireballs impact the ground where she was before Naruto landed on the ground. Yoruchi then reappeared a few feet from him. Interesting, she fights like Guy and Lee. If so, her speed is her most prominent factor. I'd almost say she's as fast as me. Not bad. However, let's see you dodge what I have in store for you next. Naruto thought with a smirk. Naruto then went through several hand signs, to which Yoruchi noticed and filed in her memory. I see now. In order for him to use techniques like the one he just did, he needs to go through a series of hand signs. However, if I can keep him from using one of his hands, he won't be able to create any attacks. Sorry Foxy, but I've got your tricks figured out. Yoruchi thought, ready to dodge. Wind style. Vacuum bullets. Naruto yelled, expelling multiple spherical bullet-like wind blasts from his mouth. Yoruchi shunpoed out of the way, intending to appear from Naruto's side and attack. However, she was shocked to see Naruto appear in front of her face to face with his fist cocked back. Yoruchi was forced to quickly block the punch from the blonde before delivering one of her own, only to have her fist caught by him. Naruto then grinned before quickly going through hand signs with his free hand, surprising Yoruchi. Secret style. 1,000 needles of death. Naruto yelled, making needles made of water appear around Yuruchi as he jumped back with them launching at her. Yuruchi quickly shunpoed into the air out of the way of the attack, but before she could react, Naruto appeared behind her. He grabbed her shoulders before he started spinning them towards the ground head first at a fast pace. Primary Latsu. Naruto yelled, slamming into the ground after releasing Yuruchi to take the attack. As Naruto landed, he turned back towards the spot where Yuruchi impacted. Said Perplet walked out of the impact zone with her shirt in tatters and a few scrapes, but okay nonetheless. Naruto smirked at seeing her. Had enough yet? Naruto asked, making Yuruchi smirk back. Not even close, but I see now that I can't hold back on you anymore. So this next attack will end it. Yuruchi said before extending her right arm out and started gathering an enormous amount of reishi, causing a white Ryatsu to surround her person. From the sidelines, Kisuke, Tessai, and Shinji were surprised that Yuruchi was using Shunken this early, but could understand. After all, it was painstakingly obvious that Naruto was holding back the whole time during their spar, so of course Yuruchi had to get serious now. The only question that remains, will Shunken even work against anything Naruto might have or not? Naruto was standing in place, wondering what the technique was that was about to come. Careful Naruto. Don't take that attack head on. Kurama mentally warned. Got it Kurama. Naruto nodded mentally. This is the highest form of Hakuta, a technique known as Shunken. It is an ultra-powerful technique in which one drives Kidman into one's arms and legs. The Kidman itself can be controlled and fired at opponents from the body. By concentrating Shunken around a particular area of their body, a person can prevent attacks from damaging or piercing this area. Yuruchi explained it seeing his questioning look before clenching her right hand, blowing off the back and shoulders of her orange shirt. I don't know what Hakuta and Kidman are, but that doesn't matter right now. What does matter is that I need to stop the attack that's coming. Naruto said before biting into his thumbs and placing his hands on the ground. Summoning Jutsu. Triple Rashomon. In an instant, 3 giant and different colored gates with demonic faces came up out of the ground in a row between Naruto and Yuruchi, surprising all of the Shinigami present. What's with those gates? I've never seen anything like them before. Doesn't matter, my Shunken will blast right through them before they do whatever their purpose is. Yuruchi thought before running at the gates with her fist cocked back. As soon as Yuruchi's fist connected with the first gate, a giant blast is seen blowing through the first gate's doors and then out of the last one. However, the blast was weaker than what was supposed to have been, shocking Yuruchi to the core. The gates then lowered back down and disappeared, revealing a smiling Naruto on the other end of them, completely unharmed. What was that? Yuruchi asked, not believing that her most powerful attack was reduced to nothing. That was my triple Rashomon. It's a defensive ninjutsu that can render any attack weak. The first gate takes the attack head-on, the second reduces the attack's power, and the third disperses the pressure, causing all attacks that come in contact with it to lose their power before they can be effective. Naruto explained, impressing both Kisuke and Tessai. Amazing. That defense has a lot of potential to it. Kisuke stated. Indeed, especially if it can stop something as powerful as Shunken. Tessai agreed. Shinji said nothing as he continued to watch, interested to see how this would end. Back on the field with Naruto and Yuruchi, the Perplet was panting heavily after using her most powerful technique. Since she still didn't have full control over it, she couldn't recover very fast. However, the blonde before her wasn't even close to tired. In fact, he still wasn't going all out, and that's what surprised her. Yuruchi then started falling toward the ground before finding herself in Naruto's arms and passing out. I guess that's it for our spar. Naruto said, getting nods from the others. I guess so. I'm also sure that you're curious about what Kidman Hakuta are too, correct? Kisuke asked, getting a nod from the blonde. So, Kisuke and Tessai explained to Naruto just what the techniques were from the Soul Society. Zanjutsu, Hakuta, Home, and Kidman. To Naruto, they sounded very similar to Kenjutsu, Taijutsu, and Ninjutsu. Though he was curious to see just how his jutsu stacked up to them, he knew that it was getting late outside and decided to wait for another time. After their long discussion, they started climbing back up the ladder. Everyone soon climbed back up to the shop, where Naruto then walked to a back room and placed Yuruchi in a bed before saying goodnight to everyone and leaving. As Naruto walking home though, he suddenly felt Ichigo's Ryatsu along with the hollows and decided to check it out. He quickly disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Naruto soon appeared on a roof in a neighborhood where Ichigo's Ryatsu was coming from. He looked down to see Rukia outside someone's house, where crashing sounds were heard and jumped down to meet her, surprising her. Where did you come from? Rukia asked. Not important. Right now, tell me what's going on. Naruto ordered, making Rukia turn back to the house. Ichigo is fighting a hollow that is trying to kill Orihime and her friend Tatsuki, but he is having difficulties killing it because he learned the identity of the hollow. It was once Orihim's brother Sora. Rukia answered, surprising Naruto, who remembered Orihim from school earlier in the day. He met her and her friend Tatsuki during lunchtime. They had walked up to him and asked if he wanted to have some lunch with them. Naruto politely accepted their offer and sat together under a nice shady tree. They had talked and gotten to know one another very well. Though, what shocked Tatsuki was that Naruto tried Orihim's ramen thing and actually liked it. At that time, Naruto had made 2 more friends that he would protect with his life. Now, both of them were in danger of being killed. And by Orihim's own brother no less. Naruto sighed before he listened to Rukia speak again. Perhaps you should jump in and help him. Ichigo can't focus on stopping the hollow and Rukia started but was interrupted by the blonde. No. Naruto said simply, shocking the short girl. What? Why not? Rukia asked, not understanding. Because I know what Ichigo is going through. I felt the same way when I learned a hollow's identity a long time ago. I understand that you believe I should help him because he can't focus. However, despite the fact that he and 2 other friends of mine are in danger, if I were to kill it, then Ichigo would never get over his feelings to fight hollows that show up. He needs to learn to hold back his emotions in battle and remember that hollows may have been people once before but are now suffering because of the state they've been reduced to, and the only way to free them from their pain is to cleanse them. Naruto explained, making Rukia look at him in awe at his wise words. Besides, I have faith that Ichigo can do it. He's not your average Shinigami, you know. Just as Naruto said that, Ichigo came crashing out of a wall and slid across the air, but before he could get his balance back, a red and brown tail came out of the hole and hit him into the street next to them. Ichigo. Rukia yelled, running to his downed form. Ichigo. Ichigo. Get up. Ichigo. While Rukia was busy trying to get Ichigo up, Naruto glanced through the hole and saw that a red and brown serpentine-like hollow with unkempt black hair was speaking to Orihim. Looking lower on her person, Naruto saw the one thing he would never want to see on one of his friends. A chain attached to her chest, indicating that she was dead. Damn, looks like Sora already killed her. Naruto thought, ready to take Ichigo's place now. Relax Naruto. Orihim may be dead, but her chain of fate is still connected to her body. She can be revived, but only until Sora has been stopped. Matatabi reassured, calming the blonde down before he turned back to Ichigo and Rukia. Ichigo. Come on, get up. Rukia stated, shaking the strawberry awake. I'm trying. Ichigo groaned out as he held his aching head. This is not going to be easy. So where are you hurt? Rukia asked the carrot top. Like you care. Forget about it, I'm okay. Ichigo answered, ignoring the pain from the bleeding wound on his head. Good, because you have to deal with Sora. Naruto stated, making Ichigo turn to him in surprise. Naruto. What are you doing here? Wait, you can see me. Ichigo exclaimed in shock that his newest friend can see him. I'll explain later, but right now, you have to kill Sora. He may have been human once Ichigo, maybe even your friend, but now he's a monster. A monster that only wishes to devour souls. Ichigo, the longer he's like that, the longer his pain. He is suffering, like most of those unfortunate enough to become hollows. I'm sorry to say this, but killing him is the only way to free him from his torment. Naruto stated, surprising Ichigo by this wise knowledge. He's right Ichigo. That hollow may have been her brother once, but now it's nothing but a monster. You've got to stop it. It has no heart. So put aside all your feelings and destroy it. Rukia said firmly, making Ichigo tighten his fists in determination. Back inside Orihim's house, Orihim was speaking to the hollow, which was claiming to be her dead brother. Are you really Sora? My brother? Orihim asked hesitantly. Yes Orihim, it's me. Sora answered. Why you're lying? My brother was gentle. He would never do these things you're doing. Orihim said in disbelief. I was so lonely. You were beginning to forget about me sister, a little more each day. After I died, you prayed for me every day. I watched you. It was your prayers and thoughts that gave me peace. It relieved me of my loneliness. But after a year had gone by, things changed. You became friends with that girl. And then, I saw that you began to pray for me less and less. Then when you entered high school, you stopped praying for me completely. That's I was so lonely. Sora explained, shocking Orihim. Sora, you don't have to Orihim tried to say, only for Sora to grab her shoulders. Just listen to me Orihim. If you still have even a shred of love for me, you will not betray me again. Do exactly as I say. I will deal with him, it won't take long. I shall devour this Shinigami and put an end to this. Sora stated as he headed for the hole he made. No. Don't. This doesn't have anything to do with Ichigo. Leave him alone. It's not right for you to hurt him just because Orihim tried to yell, making Sora turn back to her in anger. Shut up Orihim. Don't tell me what's right when it's your fault I've become this monster. Sora yelled, grabbing Orihim in his hands. I should kill you first for the way you abandoned me. For choosing this girl and Ichigo over honoring my memory. I'll kill you. The grip on Oriham's body soon started getting tighter, constricting her breathing. However, Ichigo appeared through the hole. No, you won't, you freak. Ichigo yelled, stabbing the hollow in his tail. Sora howled in pain, releasing Orihime. Ichigo continued stabbing Sora's tail before jumping to the side to avoid a strike from him. Sora then turned back to Orihime to try and grab her, only for Ichigo to appear in between them and cut off his hand, making the Sora howl in more pain. Let me tell you something, Captain Overbite. Do you know why big brothers are born first? There's a reason. Ichigo started with his back to Sora as he keeled down next to a coughing Orihime before getting to his feet and turning to the hollow with a serious expression. They're born first so that they can look out for their little brothers and sisters and protect them. Naruto and Rukia then came into the room. Ichigo Rukia started, only for Naruto to silence her with a hand. Let him speak. Naruto said, wanting to know what Ichigo had to say before he saw Totsuki knocked out on the ground nearby. I can sense that Totsuki is still alive. Thank goodness for that. I'll heal her later after this situation is dealt with. And here you threaten to kill your own sister. Even a dead man doesn't ever have the right to say that. Ichigo stated, raising his sword toward the hollow. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Orihime is mine. I was 15 when she was born and I raised her when our parents abandoned us. To me, she has been more like a daughter than a sister. Sora said before turning to his sister. Orihime, come with me now. Back to when it was just you and me happy together. If you come, then I promise I will spare these other souls. Orihime got off the ground but was held back by Naruto grabbing her shoulder. Wait, it's a trap. Naruto stated, keeping his eye on Sora. Naruto is right. You can't believe him because he doesn't have the feelings of a brother anymore. Rukia said, trying to save Orihime from certain death. Are you sure? Orihime asked. Sora then noticed Orihime's hairpin. That hairpin, Sora said, remembering when he was alive and Orihime when she was growing up. Flashback begin. The 5-year-old Orihime is seen running with a happy smile on her face and laughing. Sora is then seen holding her shoulders with a smile on his face. The image changes to a 10-year-old Orihime running with a happy smile on her face this time. Sora and Orihime are seen together, this time standing in front of her school with happy smiles. The image then changes again to a 15-year-old Orihime running with a happy smile. Sora and Orihime then are seen hugging, happy smiles on their faces. I love you, big brother. Orihime said happily. Flashback end. Brother. Ah. Sora yelled, holding his head in pain while bashing it against the wall, shocking everyone. Brother. Orihime yelled in worry. What is this? Rukia exclaimed, not understanding what's going on. This is new. Any ideas, guys? Naruto mentally asked the Biju. I don't know. This is the first time a hollow has ever done something like this before. Kurama stated, watching the scene before him. He must be remembering what he was like when he was alive. This is most unexpected for a hollow. Son Goku said, just as surprised. Sora soon stopped bashing his head into the wall before turning his sights back onto his sister. Orihime is mine. Sora yelled, launching himself at Ichigo, who quickly blocked him with his sword. Orihime doesn't belong to anyone. Least of all to you. Ichigo yelled, knocking Sora outside. Ichigo quickly gave chase and jumped in the air with his sword raised over his head, ready to deliver the finishing blow. However, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Do it. What are you waiting for? Rukia yelled. Before Ichigo could even think to bring his sword down, Sora turned toward him and shot acid at his hands, forcing Ichigo to release his weapon and fall to the ground. Sora then came down to the street with his mouth wide open, ready to devour Ichigo as he was getting to his feet. Ichigo. Naruto and Rukia yelled in unison, missing Orihime run past them. Everyone was shocked by what happened in that moment. Just as the hollow was about to kill Ichigo, Orihime had jumped in at the last second and took the hit for the orange-haired teen, thus getting her left shoulder bitten. However, despite her injury, she was hugging Sora's head. Said hollow had froze with his mouth wide open. Orihime, Ichigo said, surprised by what she did. She jumped in front of him to stop her brother's attack. Foolish, but brave. Naruto thought, admiring Orihime's gutsiness. Orihime, why did you do that? Sora asked in shock. Sora, I had to save Ichigo, cause this is all my fault. The reason you're this way, it's because of me. I begged you not to leave me alone. That's why you weren't able to find peace and it's all my fault. Orihime said, tears running down her cheeks. Orihime, Sora said, surprised that she blamed herself for his condition. Since you died, I've always had the sense that you were watching over me because I'd asked you to. Even yesterday, when that car was about to hit me, you protected me, didn't you? I have this mark because you pulled my leg to get me out of the way in time. That was you, wasn't it? Orihime said. Naruto, Rukia and Ichigo listening intently. That explains it. Rukia said in realization, remembering the bruise on Orihim's leg from yesterday. Then one day I realized that if I kept depending on you to stay by my side, you'd never be able to rest in peace, but if I showed you that my life was really happy and that you didn't need to worry about me anymore, you could pass on. I never dreamed it would make you sad and lonely. I would never wanted to do that to you, brother. Orihim cried before falling to the ground. Orihim. Sora said in worry, to which his mask began appearing and disappearing, making him yell out in pain. Eyes, what the hell's happening to him? Ichigo questioned Naruto and Rukia. The part that's still human is fighting the hollow for control. Evidently this one didn't become a hollow by choice. He must have been taken over. Rukia answered, surprising Ichigo, while Naruto listened to her explanation closely. Taken over? This is the first time I've heard of that before. Naruto thought, never facing a hollow that was in Sora's current position. Taken over? By who? Ichigo asked, watching as Sora fought for control. The soul that is devoured by a strong hollow can be manipulated by that strong hollow, and that hollow desires your Riryoku. So it took over this poor soul, planning to use it to attack you. It hoped that since you knew this soul in life, you would hesitate to fight him, which in fact you did. Rukia explained, making Naruto tighten his hands ever so slightly into fists, remembering having to deal with the same kind of problem from Kabuto in his younger days when he used his reanimation jutsu in the 4th Great Ninja War. Yeah, and right now he's fighting that hollow for Orihim's sake. Naruto stated before looking at the struggling Sora. Come on Sora, you can do it. Soon enough, the mask covering Sora's face shattered, revealing Sora's real face. Orihim watched this in awe before falling back to the ground and blacking out, worrying Sora. No. Sora yelled. Orihim. Ichigo yelled, running to her before Rukia stopped him. It's alright. Fortunately the chain of fate is still connected to her chest. As long as it's attached to her she will not die. I need to treat her, stay back. The power of my kid should be able to save her. Rukia said as she placed her hand on Orihim's chest, to which it began glowing. Sora then took notice of Orihim's hairpin. Ichigo and Naruto noticed this too. Though Naruto had made a clone to go and heal Totsuki while he watched on. That hairpin she's wearing was a present from you, wasn't it Sora? She told me that once. That's why she wears it every single day. Ichigo stated. At this knowledge, Sora moved towards Ichigo's Zanpakuto and picked it up, confusing Ichigo. What are you doing? Ichigo asked. I only have a short time before the hollow overwhelms me again and changes me back into a monster. So while I'm sane, I can still think clearly. I'll end this. Sora stated, aiming the end of Ichigo's blade at his neck. No wait, don't do that. Ichigo pleaded, only for Naruto to come over and place his hand on his shoulder. It's alright Ichigo, Sora's made the right choice. Once you become a hollow, you can never go back to what you once were. The best thing for him is to pass on. Naruto stated, letting Rukia focus on healing Orihim. Said petite girl smiled at Naruto's knowledge, but made a mental note to ask where he learned it from. Right now though, healing the injured Orihim was more important at the moment. Naruto Ichigo trailed off. Relax. Exercising a hollow isn't the same thing as killing it. You're cleansing its soul so that it can enter the soul society. That's the reason Shinigami exist. To help all souls find their way and rest in peace. Naruto explained before turning to Sora, who was ready to end his life. Sora, I know how much you love your sister, but to always be there for her after death is selfish. I know you love her dearly, but you have to move on to the other side, because if you don't, you're just hurting both yourself and her. Naruto stated, making Sora look at him sadly for a moment before nodding at his words. Sora then smiled at them gratefully and prepared to stab his neck, but was stopped by another voice. Wait, I have to tell you something. Everyone looked to see a now awake Orihim, who was looking up at her brother. This hairpin. Remember the argument we had about it the day you gave it to me? I said I didn't like it because I thought it didn't look grown up enough for me. I know I hurt your feelings and you left without saying anything else, and that was the last time I saw you alive. So now, I want to say what I should have said to you when you went off to work that day. Orihim said before sitting up with Rukia's help and giving her brother a sad smile. Big brother, have a good day. Thanks Orihim. Sora said, thankful to his sister's kindness before piercing his neck with Ichigo's sword and turning into Raishi, leaving Ichigo's sword to fall to the ground with a clatter. After watching her brother go, Orihim cried on Rukia's chest. Naruto sighed before turning to Ichigo, who was now giving him a questioning look. I know you have a lot of questions for me, but can they wait until tomorrow? I'm tired after tonight and I'm sure you are too. Naruto said, starting to feel the effects of sleepiness come over him. Besides, now's not the time for such things. Fine, but you aren't going to dodge anything I have to say. Got it. Ichigo said seriously. Fine by me. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get some sleep for school. I'm sure Rukia can handle things here for now. Until tomorrow Ichigo. Naruto said with a wave before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Naruto's apartment. Naruto soon appeared inside his apartment and stretched his arms with a yawn. It had been a fulfilling day and he was dead tired. He stripped down to his boxers and fell onto his bed with a content smile on his face. He might have gone easy on Yurichi earlier, but he had to admit that she gave him a run for his money. It's been such a long time since anyone had given him a good challenge like Yurichi did. Yurichi definitely was a good challenge. However, I'm going to have to ask her about that last attack she used. Shunkum, if I remember right, was her most powerful attack. If I had actually taken it head-on, I would have been severely injured. Though, it seems she still needs some practice with it. Maybe I can help her with it sometime. Naruto said before yawning. I'll talk to her about when I can. For now, I better get some sleep. I've got the feeling that tomorrow's gonna be a long day. Naruto soon let sleep overcome him. Karakura High School. The next day at school, Naruto, Ichigo, and Rukia are listening to Orihime as she tells her friends what happened to her last night. No way. One of Orihime's friends said in disbelief. Really? What happened was a sumo wrestler with a gun blasted a hole through the wall into my room last night. Orihime exclaimed to her friends, making them think she's playing around. From nearby, Naruto, Ichigo, and Rukia only stared at her from afar with sweat drop on their heads. The sumo wrestler with a gun? Really? That's the best memory that device could give her. That story is just going to make Orihime sound crazy. Naruto mentally exclaimed, the Biju nodding in agreement. So that's what you did yesterday, huh? Ichigo asked, talking about Rukia's memory replacement device, Rukia nodding yes. You used the same thing on my family the other day, didn't you? That's right, I did. Rukia answered proudly. Really? I don't suppose you could lend me that for the next time I want to pull a prank on someone and make them forget that it was me, could you? Naruto asked, giving Rukia what he calls the chappy face jutsu. Rukia quickly looked away with as much willpower as possible. Ignore the cuteness. Ignore the cuteness. Ignore the cuteness. Rukia mentally repeated, sweating bullets. Hold on a second, you said that you'd explain how you were able to see me last night. Remember? Ichigo reminded, saving Rukia from her torment. Naruto sighed while rubbing the back of his neck. Well, I guess I owe you an explanation. Alright, I'll tell you about myself Ichigo. About who Naruto Uzumaki really is. Naruto said, beginning his story. After Naruto had finished telling Ichigo about himself, the strawberry was absolutely shocked by the blonde's life story. He quickly got over his shock before crossing his arms. So let me get this straight. You're a shinobi who's fought guys with multiple hearts, immortality, godly powers, a beast with unstoppable power, and even an evil goddess before you walked the earth for centuries with giant powerful monsters sealed inside of you, thus making you this eternal Rikido-sanin. Ichigo asked, getting a nod from Naruto. You also say that you've fought all sorts of warriors, beasts, and other things, especially hollows. Lastly, you said that not only have you fought hollows, you've also used your powers to gain your own Zanpakuto and even know about Shinigami. Yep, that's more or less a short way to describe me. Honestly, I'm surprised by how easy you're taking it though. Naruto said, getting an agreeing nod from Rukia. Yeah, I'd thought you'd at least be gobsmacked by his life story. Rukia stated, despite still being skeptical, making Ichigo rub the back of his head. Well, with what all has happened to me in just 2 days, I'm not sure if anything at this point can surprise me. I'm just amazed at what all you've been through in life. Ichigo said, getting a smile from Naruto. What can I say? When life throws you obstacles, you got to learn to get through them. Naruto stated before turning serious. Speaking of getting past obstacles, have you chosen to be a Shinigami or what? Rukia listened closely, wondering the same thing for a while now. She watched as Ichigo stood up and walked over to the railing that overlooked the town. Naruto and Rukia followed closely to hear what his answer would be. I'm still not ready to actually commit to this Shinigami business or anything. I'm not so noble a person that I can promise to risk my life for a complete stranger just like that. On the other hand though, I could never just stand around and watch while someone else was hurt. Ichigo said, turning to Naruto and Rukia and holding out his hand to her. So, I'll help you guys. At least I will for now. With this work of yours as a Shinigami. Good. I'm counting on you. Rukia said with a smile as she took his hand and shook it. Naruto watched this with a hidden grin. He was happy that Ichigo chose to be a Shinigami and was glad that he had the same kind of feelings as him when it came to protecting others. However, he knew that if he walked down such a path, then he was going to face many dangerous obstacles and powerful opponents in the future. Naruto wasn't that worried though. Just by looking at Ichigo, he knew that no matter what or who stood in his path, he would get past them. Late at night, Chad and 2 of his buddies are seen near a construction site with one of them talking about a parakeet that's cursed. The cicadial that's cursed. A blonde friend asked. All the people that have owned this bird have gotten into these really terrible situations and died. A black-haired friend explained. Wow, you serious? That's not a good sign. The blonde friend stated. Hey Shigeo, you wanna take him? The black-haired friend asked. So please, tell me. Just how stupid do I look to you? Here's an idea, why don't you set him free or dump him someplace? The now-named Shigeo suggested. Now that would be too cruel. Well, how about you Chad, what do you say? Isn't he cute? The black-haired friend asked, holding the cage parakeet to be at eye level with Chad. Hey, knock it off. You know Chad has a weakness for cute things. The Shigeo said. As they're conversing with each other, none of them notice an invisible being on top of the construction site. However, the parakeet noticed and started screeching and flapping its wings wildly in fear, getting Chad's attention. They all then heard something and looked up, only to see a steel beam falling towards them. H. Chad's friends yelled while he stood up, the beam landing on him, creating a large cloud of dust around them. Waco Mundo. The shadowed hollow is seen speaking to another hollow, who had returned shortly after dropping the beam on Chad and his friends. We shall continue it. We shall continue our quest to devour. In order to fill the emptiness of our existence, we must continue our never-ending quest to hunt them down. And above all, it is the spirit of a Shinigami that is most delicious. Once you have tasted it, you will never forget it. You will crave it always. The hollow stated, watching as the other hollow vanished before speaking again. However, there's only one soul I want to devour more than anything, and that's the soul of the one who humiliated me so many years ago. Your soul will be mine, boy, I swear it. World of the living. As the dust clears, Chad is revealed to have stopped the metal beam with his back. Said object bent with a gentle giant standing as if he didn't even feel it. Ch Chad. The black-haired friend questioned, lifting his head off the ground. Why yeah, are you alright buddy? Shigeo asked, surprised out of his mind. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Chad answered calmly, blood sliding down his face from a wound on his head. Why you're okay? Then how come you're bleeding bro? Shigeo asked, surprised that Chad wasn't the least bit hurt. Before Chad could speak, he was stopped by a voice that got their attention fast. Thank you so much for saving me. The parakeet said with a child's voice, shocking Chad's friends while the gentle giant looked at him. Hello there. My name is Akichi Shibata. So what's your name mister? What? Did you hear that? That bird is talking just like a real person. Shigeo said, surprised at this new knowledge before them. Yeah, I heard it. It is cursed. The black-haired friend stated in fear. I'd really like to know your name mister. Akichi said, while Chad lifted himself up a bit. Yasutora Sato, but most people call me Chad. I'm 15 years old. Chad introduced. Check it out, Chad's interested in the bird. Shigeo stated, watching the teen and bird interact. Karakura High School. It's been a few days since the whole Sora incident and Naruto, Ichigo, and Rukia are seen standing on the school roof while lunch was going on. Naruto was eating his lunch and was currently drinking from a juice box, while Rukia and Ichigo talked. Geez, there's not even a trace of that burn left. It's nearly healed in just one day. Ichigo said as he inspected his head where Sora had injured him. Don't be so surprised. I got the best grades in my kidden class, and I had a talent for it. Healing your wound was easy. Rukia stated, drawing Naruto and Ichigo's attention. You got graded. So what then? There's a school for Shinigami? Ichigo asked. Not surprising. I had to go to an academy before I could call myself a shinobi. After all, they wouldn't let people go into the field to fight without training them. Right Rukia? Naruto asked, getting a nod from her. Yes. You could call them the same thing. The only difference is that we learn to fight and defend ourselves in combat against enemies. Rukia stated, making Naruto and Ichigo glance at each other before looking at her. So basically, it's like regular high school. They stated in unison, making Rukia sweat drop. I guess you could say that. Anyway, tell me, how do I drink from this thing? Rukia asked, holding up the juice box in her hand. You gotta poke a hole in it. You just use the sharp end of your straw. Naruto answered, almost not believing her. What straw? Rukia asked, not seeing said item. So, you're together again. You three seem pretty chummy. A voice spoke, drawing Naruto's and Ichigo's attention to see that it was Mizuru with his lunch. Mizuru, shut up. Come on, does it really look to you that any of us are chummy? Ichigo questioned. Maybe. Mizuru said before walking over. Well, to be perfectly honest, you three do seem pretty close, but people are gonna talk. And if they talk enough, people are gonna think that you're a gang or something. Whatever. If I really cared about what people think, then I would have dyed my hair black a long time ago. Ichigo stated, putting his straw into his juice box. Yep, same with me. Not a lot of guys liked my whisker marks, thinking that they were tattoos, when actually they're birthmarks. The same can be said for my hair. But I didn't care, because they're what make me who I am. If others have a problem with it, they'll just have to deal with it. Naruto stated before going back to eating his boxed lunch, Ichigo nodding at the fact. Yeah, that's true. Some people should just accept what others are like. Mizuru said in understanding. So this is the straw. Rukia said, getting Mizuro's attention, who saw her examining the straw and box. Short, but now I have to know where do I poke it. Hi there, how you doing? Mizuru said, getting Rukia's attention. Why hello there. You're Mizuru? Rukia asked in her cute girl style. That's me. I guess we haven't been properly introduced. I'm Mizuru Kojima. I really like Mizuru began, only for Ichigo to interrupt him. Picking up chicks. Ichigo stated, surprising Mizuru at his comment, while Naruto chuckled in the background. Wah. Ichigo, that's not cool. Mizuru said, trying to defend himself. Watch it. He may look like a dork, but he's a real player. Seriously. Ichigo said to Rukia, making Naruto raise a brow at the black-haired boy. He's a player? I find that hard to believe. Naruto mentally stated. Then again, I'm a pretty good player myself and I don't look like much, so I shouldn't talk. Cut it out. You'll permanently damage my reputation. Besides Ichigo, you know older women are really more my style. Mizuru said. Like I said Rukia, watch this one. Ichigo stated, both him and Mizuru turning to Rukia, who wasn't paying any attention to them. At this, Naruto turned to Rukia, who was struggling to put her straw into her juice box. He then got Ichigo's meaning, thus trying desperately not laugh out loud at the fact that Rukia is much older than she looks. He could only imagine Mizuru's reaction if he knew that. Just forget it. Ichigo said, ignoring Rukia's struggle. Before any of them could speak, a new voice appeared out of nowhere, revealing that it was Kigo with his lunch. What's this? The two new transfer students Naruto Uzumaki and Rukia Kichiki are here with you guys. How did that happen? Kigo exclaimed in surprise. I was just sitting up here by my lonesome until Ichigo and Rukia showed up together. Ichigo said that he wanted to spend some alone time with her. Naruto answered, surprising Ichigo, while Rukia still paid them no mind, paying more attention to her juice box. Huh? I did not. Ichigo yelled, shocked that his friend threw him under the bus like that. Ichigo did. Haha, what a guy. Good job. Kigo yelled, patting Ichigo on the shoulder and giving him a thumbs up with tears streaming down his face. I didn't say that, damn it. Ichigo yelled, turning red in embarrassment. Kigo then walked over and stood in front of Rukia, getting her to look away from her juice box and turned to him. Greetings, I'm Kigo Asano. Welcome lovely lady to this garden of manliness. Kigo exclaimed with a salute. Hello. Rukia said, a sweat drop on the back of her head, making Kigo run back and forth childishly with his arms flailing. Lunch party. Right here. Right now. Kigo yelled. Some party. Noodles and juice. Mizuru exclaimed. Shut up. It's the feeling that counts. So Rukia, if you find yourself needing anything, just call on me. I'm here for you. Kigo stated, completely forgetting about Naruto. Great, open this. Rukia said, handing Kigo her straw and juice box. No problem. Your wish is my command. Kigo said before bumping into Chad, who was standing right behind him. Hey Chad. Ichigo greeted. What's up big guy? Naruto greeted cheerfully, to which Chad waved at them, getting everyone to notice his bandaged hand and face. Hey Chad, what's with the bandages? Whoa, you got hurt. How? What happened to you? Kigo asked. I had a mishap. A steel beam fell on my head. Chad answered. A steel beam fell on him, and yet he says it like it was nothing. Geez, just what the hell is his body made of? Isobu's shell. Naruto thought with a sweat drop. Yeah right. Nothing in the world is as strong as my shell. I'm a living fortress. Isobu exclaimed, flabbergasted that Naruto would compare a human to his shell. My hand got hurt when a motorcycle ran into me. The rider that hit me got banged up pretty bad. The force of the collision threw him off and he was knocked out. So I picked the guy up and carried him to the hospital. Chad explained. That explains why you were late today. Naruto commented, getting nods of agreement from everyone. I thought it was weird that you weren't here today. Well it's good that you're okay man. Ichigo commented as Chad placed the caged bird that he had with him on the ground. Hey, so where'd you get that bird? Kigo asked. My name's Akechi Shibata, it's nice to meet you. What's your name? Akechi greeted. At the sound of the child's voice. Naruto, Ichigo, and Rukia were shocked to see such a thing. Naruto might have worked alongside talking animals before, but Yuruchi didn't count since she could transform into a cat and as far as he knew, nobody could even use chakra anymore. So, the bird couldn't have been a summoning. What the hell? There's no way that's a summoning or even a transformation. No, that's a normal bird, but there's a soul trapped inside of it. It's a Jinchuriki, but in reverse. Something's not right here. Naruto thought as he stared at the caged bird. So Chad, just where did you get this bird? Ichigo asked warily. Someone gave me him. Chad answered after a long pause, which made them all sweat drop. Hold it. There you go again, getting lazy and cutting your story short. Come on. That's a bad habit you have, Chad. Now explain. Spill it. Kigo yelled, pointing at the gentle giant that sat down. That was the whole story. Chad stated. While Kigo and Chad were having their one-sided argument, Naruto and Ichigo were staring at the bird before them. Though Ichigo was wondering if it was evil, Naruto was trying to figure out how a boy's soul got put into a bird to begin with. He's dealt with things like it before, but this one didn't feel like any of them. Don't worry. Rukia said, breaking the two out of their thoughts. You're right, there is something in that bird, but I don't think it's evil. It's probably just a lonely soul. You know, one that didn't have many friends. But we can't leave it, or it might become a hollow. Tonight, we need to perform a consum. Oh great, that's just what I need, another sleepless night. Ichigo grumbled. It doesn't help to complain. Rukia stated. She's right, Ichigo. After all, you chose to do her job, so you gotta deal with it. Besides, give it some time and you'll get used to it. Naruto said, patting him on the back. Yeah, I know. Ichigo said as he took Rukia's juice and put the straw in for her. Naruto and Rukia though glanced at each other, thinking the same thing. Ichigo had sensed the boy's soul in the bird due to his concern for others. This means that he was beginning to understand a Shinigami's power without even knowing it. Ichigo then handed Rukia back her juice, which she drank gratefully. I gotta tell ya, Ichigo began, catching Naruto and Rukia's attention. Back in 8th grade, that was when I first met Chad. The color of my hair always got people's attention, but not in a good way, and I'd end up in these fights. Actually, the day I met Chad, his timing couldn't have been better. I was in the middle of this little scrape. These guys really meant business. Ichigo remembered how some punks were beating him up and one was about to hit his head with a brick. That was until Chad appeared and knocked the guy away from Ichigo and how he began taking the beating for him without fighting back. That was the day I met Chad and Chad never fights back, no matter how much people egg him on. Ichigo finished, all of them watching Chad feed the bird. That is some friend you have there, Ichigo. To stick up for you like that without fighting back, it's to be admired. Naruto said, taking a bite of a rice ball. Yeah, it really is. Ichigo agreed. This juice is good. Rukia commented. Enjoy. Ichigo said simply. As they continued to have lunch, Naruto looked at Chad and his bird closely with narrowed eyes. I know what you're thinking, Naruto. Yes, it is strange that of all things, why the body of a bird and not some other boy or something else. This is too suspicious to be ignored. Jiki stated, getting a mental nod from Naruto. Yeah, I know. Tonight, while Ichigo and Rukia are dealing with Chad and his bird, I'm going to do some looking around. This has the smell of foul play written all over it. Naruto mentally stated. Later at night, Naruto is seen in his shinobi outfit with his Zanpakuto at his waist searching for anything, but didn't know what. He had looked into the cursed bird that Chad had and found out that everyone who had it have gotten into terrible accidents that killed them. Finding this suspicious, Naruto believed that someone or something was doing these things, but he wanted to be sure. It had been a good few hours since he started looking and was about to call it a night. However, a powerful Reiatsu had appeared out of nowhere, so he headed for it. Once he arrived, he saw that it was a big car wreck with multiple people hurt. However, his attention was drawn to a familiar face that he can't mistake for anything. Chad is seen being loaded into an ambulance with his bird in his hand. However, Naruto was looking at the big mark on Chad's back, which was no doubt a handprint. I see, so Hollow is behind this. I thought that it was odd that these accidents that people got in were revolving around a bird. Not to mention that the bird has a kid soul in it. This Hollow's been using a Kichi to lure unsuspecting people in, so it can devour their souls. Naruto stated before trying to pinpoint the Hollow's location now, but couldn't. Damn. I guess it's hiding between worlds. I have no choice but to wait and see where it appears next. Naruto then headed back to his apartment to wait for the Hollow to reappear. The next morning, Naruto is seen wearing his outfit from last night, having already called in sick at school. Right now, he was searching for not just the Hollow, but after getting a call from Ichigo, he was looking for Chad and the bird as well. It wasn't easy looking for them though. He could easily sense Ichigo and Rukia because of their Riryoku, but sensing Chad or Ikichi was not as simple, since they aren't spirituality aware like the other two. So now, Naruto was trying to aid Ichigo and Rukia in their search for Chad. However, Naruto soon sensed a Hollow's Reiatsu appear out of nowhere and it was near Ichigo and Rukia. If that Hollow is near them, then that means Chad is too. I gotta hurry. Naruto yelled, running at top speed to their location. With Ichigo and Rukia. As Ichigo and Rukia are running down the street, they stop to see Chad run from around the corner with Akichi. There. It's Chad. Ichigo yells, catching said person's attention before he runs down the street. Chad, stop running away. You need my help, hold up. Ichigo. A strained voice called, getting Ichigo and Rukia to turn to a tired Karen. Karen? What are you doing here? You look really sick. Ichigo said worriedly. Karen tried to speak, but couldn't before falling to her knees. Karen? Ichigo said, moving to her side. Ichigo, you need to get Karen home now so we know she'll be safe. Rukia said before turning to where Chad ran. I'll handle them. Are you kidding me? I can't just leave you. Ichigo declined. Just do as I say. I know what would happen if we leave her here. You'd be worrying about her when you fight the Hollow, and that can't happen here no matter what. Rukia explained, getting Ichigo to reluctantly understand and pick up his sister. Go on, get moving. Get her home. And get back here quick. Rukia, I hope you know, right now you don't have the strength to fight a Hollow by yourself. Please, don't risk yourself for my sake. If Naruto shows up before me, let him handle it. Ichigo instructed. Don't be stupid. A veteran Shinigami never takes unnecessary chances with a Hollow. Besides, Naruto should show up sooner or later, so I won't be alone for long. Rukia stated, giving Ichigo a smile for his thoughtfulness. Now go. Right. Ichigo said before running back to his house while Rukia ran after Chad. You're gonna be alright, Karen. You just hold on and hang in there. Ichigo said as he ran his little sister back to his house. Ichigo, I came to tell you I saw it. I saw the memories of the spirit possessing that bird. Maybe it was because I'm the closest in age to that human soul. His strongest memory flowed into my mind and I saw it all. I saw exactly what he saw. His mother's murder. It happened right in front of him. You must tell him that if he goes to the other side, she'll be there. You gotta help that poor boy. Please do it. Don't let him be alone anymore. All the terrible pain he's had, it needs to end. Karen begged, remembering every one of Akichi's memories like they were hers. With Rukia. As Rukia followed Chad, she was having a hard time keeping up. Damn. I can't even catch up with him. This Gigai I have is worthless, I can't even fly. Next time I get a temporary body, I'll make those R&D imbeciles give me one stronger than this. This Gigai's legs barely run and its heart and lungs are slowing me down. This is bad. Rukia said mentally, doing her best to catch up to Chad. You smell good. A voice spoke out of nowhere, making Rukia stop in her tracks. As she's looking, she feels the Hollow next to her and looks over her shoulder to see Shrieker appear. You smell wonderful, delicious. Time to eat your soul. Shrieker yelled, raising his hand to crush her. Rukia quickly dodged the attack and turned to face the intimidating Hollow that was looming over her. Shrieker has features resembling a frog and retractable bat wings on his arms. So you're still alive. You're tougher than I thought and you can see me quite clearly. That makes me curious. Just who are you? Shrieker asked. Rukia's answer came in the form of her kneeing him in the jaw. She then grabbed the top of his mask before flipping onto his back and began chanting a kidm. Be Lord. Mask of flesh and bone, flutter of wings, ye who bears the name of man. Truth and temperance, upon this sinless wall of dreams unleash, but slightly the wrath of your claws. Head number 33. Pale fire crash. Rukia yelled as she jumped into the air, firing a ball of blue flames from her palm into Shrieker's back. I did it, I got my powers back. Rukia thought with a smile before it disappeared in shock from Shrieker appearing from the smoke unharmed. But Chad. Chad is seen having stopped running due to the sound of an explosion back where he ran from. What's going on? Hear that? Chad asked Akichi as he looked back down the road. It's attacking her. Akichi said worriedly, getting Chad's attention. It's that young lady who was chasing us before. The monster is attacking her right now. It's going to hurt her really bad. You just stay here. Chad said, putting the cage with Akichi in it on the ground. I gotta go. What are you going to do? Akichi asked in fear for Chad's life. I'm going to help her. Chad answered, turning to run back to Rukia's location. Wait, please. Don't go. It's just too dangerous. No. Don't do it. Don't go. Akichi begged, only for Chad to place him on a stone wall and run back toward Rukia. You don't understand, wait. It's not me I'm worried about, it's you. I really don't care what happens to me, but you're nice, mister. It's just that I don't want to see you get hurt like all the others. He's a monster and you won't even be able to see him. He will kill you. Don't do it. No, please. Stop. He'll get you too. Don't go. With Rukia. Oh no, my spell. It didn't even hurt him. Rukia thought in worry. I see, so that's what you are. I know that spell, it's a Shinigami spell, but yours was so weak it had no bite to it. Too bad. Shrieker mocked, causing Rukia to jump away from him. It's just as I thought, my kid hasn't recovered its force. My spell has no effect. Rukia mentally said in irritation. A tender little Shinigami who's lost her power. And you do smell so delicious. This is bringing back such wonderful memories. You see, I've already had the pleasure of devouring 2 other Shinigami who tried to help this boy pass on to the Soul Society. And I assure you, they were mighty good eating. Shrieker said, making Rukia glare at him in disgust. The boy? You mean the human soul that's in that bird? Rukia questioned, hoping to buy time for either Naruto or Ichigo to show up. That's right. Shrieker answered. What's your problem? Why have you pursued this poor kid so relentlessly? Tell me why. Rukia demanded. I might be more inclined to give you an answer if you were to let me have a little nibble. Shrieker stated, intensifying Rukia's glare. You hollow scum. Rukia said venomously, making Shrieker laugh. Ichigo is seen running down the street as fast as he can, trying to catch up to Rukia after dropping Karen off at home. As he ran, her words were still fresh in his mind, along with her crying for what Ikichi has gone through in life. How many years has it been since I last saw Karen cry? Until our mom died, Karen was a crybaby, just like Yuzu. After mom died, Yuzu, who was the clever and responsible one, tried to fill in for our mom and began to take over all of the housekeeping. Karen, who wasn't good at much of anything, stopped crying altogether so as to not to worry the rest of us. Even when she got in trouble, the time she broke her leg, she never cried. So if she's crying, she must truly be in pain. Ichigo thought as he ran, remembering her words clearly. You gotta help that poor boy. Please do it. Karen's words rang out in his mind. Just leave this to me, Karen. Ichigo mentally stated. With Rukia. We find Rukia being slammed into a wall by the hollow Shrieker, who was holding her neck tightly. You're weak. Your spell has no bite. If you're really a Shinigami, why don't you lose the meat suit and fight me for real? Shrieker yelled with a glare. Either way, you die. Before Shrieker even knew what hit him, a powerful punch came out of nowhere by Chad, forcing the hollow to release Rukia. Hey, I hit something. Alright. Chad said in what could only be satisfaction. He actually landed a punch on a hollow. How? Can he see spirits? Rukia mentally questioned in surprise before sweat dropping at watching Chad punching the air. I'm guessing no. Shrieker soon got back up from the ground, rubbing where a busted lip would be on his mask. It was just a lucky punch. He scared me for a second, I thought he could see me. Shrieker said before looking up, only to be punched by Chad right in the nose, sending him to the ground again. Alright, I got him again. Chad said, cheerfulness in his voice with an again surprised Rukia standing behind him. I can't believe what I'm seeing. He's knocked that hollow down twice now. I know there's no way he can see it or even hear it. Rukia mentally stated, observing Chad closely. A sheer force of will. This human is calmly facing down an enemy whose power he cannot even imagine. It's as if he has no sense of fear at all. Damn you. Shrieker yelled in anger before jumping into the air with his wings open for him to fly, shocking Rukia. Hahaha. Let's see you try and punch me now, you clueless human toad. You'll never even see me coming. Hey. Don't just stand there, get moving. He's in the air right above you. Rukia yelled, trying to get Chad to leave. Hey there, new girl, are you telling that you can see ghosts? Chad asked in curiosity, ignoring her warning. There's no time to explain that now. Just get away before he strikes. Rukia ordered. Where exactly? Chad asked. Why? Rukia asked in confusion, watching Chad walk toward a telephone pole. When he charges, you just tell me where he is. Chad answered, standing next to the pole. Even if I did tell you, what would you do about it? Rukia asked, only to watch as Chad grabbed the phone pole. When you got flies, you use a fly swatter. Chad said simply, pulling on the pole with all his might. Overhead, Shrieker is seen plotting his next move to attack Chad. So many ways I can attack him. Shall I swoop in low like a falcon or dive bomb straight down onto his head and tear his Shrieker questioned, watching as Chad tore the telephone pole from its foundation, shocking both Rukia and the hollow. What the hell? Just help me get a beat on him. Chad said as he lifted the pole effortlessly, breaking Rukia out of her shock. He's dead ahead. Bring it down on him now. Rukia instructed. Chad did as ordered and hit Shrieker with the pole in his hands, slamming him into the ground hard. When the dust cleared, Shrieker was on the ground in obvious pain. Chad threw away the remains of the pole before he and Rukia ran over to the downed hollow. You're through now, hollow. 2 others are on their way to finish you off for good. Rukia stated, to which Shrieker began to laugh. What's so funny? Lazy Shinigami or whoever, it's no wonder you're always getting beaten and humiliated every time you battle us. Shrieker said. Before either Rukia or Chad could react, several frog-like creatures jumped from out of nowhere around them and pined them to the ground, with Shrieker getting to his feet. Ha! Looks like the shoe's on the other foot now. You Shinigami take us too lightly. That's the reason you keep ending up like this, face down and helpless. Haha. Shrieker gloated. But which of you meat sucks to eat first? I think I'll leave the tasty Shinigami for last. Huh? While Shrieker was rambling on about who to eat, he noticed Chad moving. Said person yelled before throwing the creatures off of him, shocking both Shrieker and Rukia. What's going on? You're the craziest human I've ever seen. You can't even see me and yet you think you can defeat me with sheer muscle power. I'm gonna enjoy eating you. Shrieker yelled before dodging another punch from Chad. Damn, he almost connected again. This one has pretty good instincts. Over here Chad. Kick the air right above me. Rukia instructed, to which Chad did without hesitation, knocking the creatures off her. Another lucky hit. Shrieker yelled as he flew off with his creatures jumping off too. He's not there, he's up in the air again. Rukia yelled to Chad, who was punching nothing but air. Oh. Chad said, turning back to her. And anyway, I think I have a plan. Rukia stated. She had Chad pick her up and hold on to her legs and feet, though Chad thought it was very questionable. Hey new girl, if you ask me, there are some problems with this plan. Chad commented. Don't worry. Combining your brute strength with my intelligence is our best chance here. Rukia stated. You must be smart cause this seems really stupid to me. Chad said, not sure what to think of the short girl. Let me do the thinking for the both of us. I'll tell you where he is and you aim me. Rukia instructed while spotting Shrieker in the air. There, at 4 o'clock. You mean like this? Chad asked, aiming toward Shrieker's left side. More left. Just a little farther. Rukia ordered, Chad aiming over Shrieker's right. No, too far. Back to the right. Down a little. There. Get ready to launch me. On my mark. Steady. Fire. You can't reach me all the way up with a telephone pole, so whatever you're planning is huh. Shrieker trailed off, watching as Rukia was thrown towards him, much to his shock. You're through now? Rukia commented with a small smile. You're right Shinigami. I was a fool to think I could defeat you. I surrender. Shrieker screamed in fake fear being smirking. Kidding. Just then, another frog creature appeared from the collar of fur around Shrieker's neck, surprising Rukia before it spit multiple leeches from its body. Soap bubble style. Bubble dome jutsu. A voice yelled. Before the leeches could latch on to Rukia, a large bubble appeared out of nowhere around her, with the leeches sticking to the sides of it. Rukia looked behind her to see Naruto standing there with his palm outstretched, a grin plastered on his face as he stared up at a surprised Shrieker. Looks like I got here just in time. Naruto stated confidently. Naruto Rukia said, surprised yet thankful to see him. Naruto? Chad questioned, surprised that the other new guy and friend of his was here. What's this? Another person here to interfere in my fun? You people are just popping up like flies at this point. Shrieker stated, watching as Naruto turned to Rukia. Sorry I'm late, I had to choose between going where I sensed Ichigo was or where you were running. Luckily I sensed this guy show up, so that made my decision for me. Naruto said before turning back to Shrieker. Ask for you, I'm your opponent now ugly. You've got some nerve punk. I don't know who you are, but I do know what you're about to be. Dead. Shrieker yelled before sticking out his forked tongue and releasing a frequency that caused the leeches on the bubble to explode, creating a cloud of smoke. Hahaha. Looks he was all talk and no bite, just like his what. When the smoke cleared, Naruto and Rukia were completely unharmed and the bubble undamaged. What the hell? How are you two even alive? My leech bomb should have blown you to pieces. Shrieker yelled in anger. This bubble of mine can take worse hits than that. You're gonna have to do better if you want to kill me. Naruto said as he had the bubble take him and Rukia down to the street and pop. How did you do that? Rukia asked, amazed at the blonde's power. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Chad commented. I'd love to tell you both, but we have other things to worry about for now. Naruto stated, getting understanding nods from the two before they looked toward Shrieker, who landed on the ground a few feet in front of them. Well now, you're an interesting one. I must say, you certainly have some skill. However, all you are to me is another meat sack for me to devour. Just who are you anyway? Shrieker asked, making Naruto chuckle. Naruto Uzumaki, Rikido Senin. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not going to be devoured. Not by the likes of you pal. Naruto stated, making Shrieker glare at him. Rikido Senin huh? Oh yes, I've heard of you from an acquaintance of mine. Shrieker stated, making Naruto narrow his eyes at him. Acquaintance? I don't know who he's talking about, but if they're from Hueco Mundo, they can't be good. Naruto thought in suspicion. I don't give a damn who you are. It doesn't matter when you're dead. Shrieker yelled, multiple frog creatures appearing over Naruto's head and spitting leeches at the blonde. Naruto, watch out. Rukia yelled. Naruto turned to see the leeches all land on or near him, much to his fear. Damn. Naruto yelled. Ah, now I got you. Shrieker yelled, releasing another frequency from his tongue, causing every leech to explode. Naruto. Chad and Rukia yelled in unison. When the dust cleared, Naruto was on the ground face down with wounds all over him. Haha. Well, that was easy. Oh well, just when you thought wah. Shrieker questioned, looking at the spot Naruto was, only to see him gone. What? Where'd he go? I know he was just there. Whistle up here. A familiar voice said, getting them all to look up on a telephone pole and see Naruto sitting there unharmed and smiling. What the hell? How are you there? I saw you get blown up. Shrieker yelled in confusion. You think I'd be dumb enough to just take an attack like that one without moving? Think again. I made a shadow clone of myself to both get Rukia out of harm's way and take your attack for me. Which it was a good thing that I did, because now I know how your leeches work. Naruto said before jumping and landing on the ground in front of Chad and Rukia with his back to Shrieker. You have your little pets hide and wait for the opportunity to strike. Then, once your leeches latch onto your opponent, you release a sonic frequency with your tongue to make your leeches blow up. I must say, very clever. Oh, so you know what I can do. I'll admit, you're smarter than you look, but it won't change a thing. I'm still gonna kill you and your friends. Shrieker stated, making Naruto turn to him. Chad and Rukia, having enough of the hollow's mouth, stepped forward and stood next to Naruto. Not so fast, I have someone here you might want to see. Shrieker said, revealing Akichi with 3 of his pets on the cage, much to the three's shock. The Cicadial. So that's where the hollow was before. Grabbing the Cicadial as a hostage. Rukia said in realization while Naruto glared at the hollow. I'm so sorry, mister. I was trying to call for you. Akichi said in sadness. That's okay. Chad said in forgiveness. Heh, and with 3 leech bombs on the birdcage, all 3 of you will do what I say. Because if they explode, there won't be enough of your little friend left to spread on a cracker. Shrieker stated, much to the group's anger. You coward. Naruto said with venom in his voice, knowing that he can't get to Akichi in time before he was blown up. Now let's play a new game. Musclehead stays put while I play tag with the Shinigami and Sage. Shrieker stated. Rukia was about to retort until Naruto spoke. Fine, we'll play your game. I just hope you can keep up. Naruto stated, much to Rukia's surprise and anger. What are you doing? We should. Rukia began, only for Naruto to pick her up and place her over his shoulder. What do you think you're doing, damn it? Just do as he says, Chad. He'll blow up Akichi if we don't. At least the chase will get him away from here, so you'll be safe. Naruto said, ignoring the struggling Rukia. But what about you two? Chad asked in concern. Trust me, Chad, we'll be just fine. I've got it under control. Naruto answered with smile. Good luck. Chad encouraged, getting a nod from the blonde. Thanks. Naruto said before slapping Rukia's butt, shutting her up. Let's go, Rukia. Naruto, with a blushing Rukia on his shoulder, turned and began running down the street with Shrieker and his pets, following closely behind as they could. Haha, I'm going to enjoy every second of this. Shrieker commented, running past Chad, who watched them all go. With Naruto and Rukia. While Naruto ran, Rukia noticed that they'd left Shrieker behind at a fair distance. So now, she decided to speak. Do you mind explaining what you did back there? Rukia asked in an irritated tone while Naruto continued to run. Simple, I bought us some time. I sense that Ichigo is close by, so I'm running to where he is and leading Bat Brain to him. As much as I wanted to kill him on the spot, I couldn't without him killing Akichi. So, while we keep him busy, we're also getting him a safe distance away from his pets back there. Naruto explained, making Rukia realize what he was doing. I get it now. Since he uses the frequency his tongue makes to detonate his leeches, he won't be able to do so if he's a far enough distance away. Which in turn will give Chad the opportunity to save the bird without trouble. Rukia said, amazed at the blonde's plan. Exactly. And once Ichigo shows up, we'll be able to corner the hollow and take him down. Naruto stated. That's genius. However, that wasn't what I meant. I meant what was with you slapping my ass like that, you pervert. Rukia yelled with a tick mark on her head. Oh, that? I just think you have a very slappable ass. Naruto answered, making Rukia blush. Before Rukia could comment on what he said, 2 of Shrieker's pets ran up on them from both sides and spat leeches at them. At this, Naruto jumped over the streams of explosives and landed on a nearby wall. However, another frog creature appeared and spat leeches at them, forcing Naruto to throw Rukia off and draw his Zanpakuto. He sliced through most of the leeches, but some had landed on him. Shrieker then came up behind them with his tongue out. This might sting a little. Shrieker commented, releasing his sonic frequency. The leeches quickly blew up, drawing blood from the blonde. "Oh no, Naruto." Rukia yelled, helping him up off the ground. "Ahaha." Shrieker laughed at Naruto's pain. I hate when stuff like that happens." Oh well, it was worth getting Rukia out the way in time. If she had taken that blast, she wouldn't have been as fortunate as me. Naruto thought, holding his bleeding shoulder. My, don't you look tasty. All covered in your own blood. I think red suits you, Sage. Let's see some more of it." Shrieker yelled, throwing one of his pets at them. Naruto and Rukia quickly dodged it, the creature exploding into goop and leeches. They began running once more, Shrieker hot on their tail. "Faster. Faster. Faster. Haha." Shrieker exclaimed as he chased them, throwing his pets at them the whole time. "Run, little rabbits, run. How long before you get tired and get blown up? Haha. Of course, you could turn around and actually fight me." At this, Naruto and Rukia both stopped in front of the river, confusing the hollow. Done already?" Shrieker questioned. "How boring. I didn't think you would give up so easily. Come on, run some more. It's not every day I get to chase Shinigami or other interesting beings, I was having fun." "We haven't given up." Naruto began. Shrieker questioned. "There's just no need for us to run from you anymore." Rukia finished. "What are you two blabbering about?" Shrieker asked. "You challenged us to fight you, didn't you? Or was that just an idiotic bluff?" Naruto asked, both of them turning to Shrieker. "Either way, you're about to die. But first, 3, 2, 1. Hold on." A new voice growled out. Before Shrieker could react, someone appeared behind him and stomped his head into the ground. Standing over the hollow with a foot on his head was none other than Ichigo. "Perfect timing, Ichigo." Rukia complimented. "Yep, and with a cool entrance too. Nice work." Naruto complimented, making Ichigo's eye twitch. "You act like you planned it this way, Naruto." Ichigo yelled, making said blonde turn his head and whistle innocently before he turned to Rukia. "And I thought you promised me you weren't gonna screw this thing all up." "Well now, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you actually care about what happens to me." Rukia commented. I guess I do." Ichigo admitted. "How touching. Do you plan to keep standing on my head all day? Who are you anyway?" Shrieker asked in irritation, making Ichigo jump off his head and stand in front of him. "Ichigo Kurosaki. Age 15. Substitute Shinigami. And if you really want to play some serious tag, I think it's me you ought to chase." Ichigo stated before Naruto stepped up. "Hold it, Ichigo. We'll take him together." Naruto stated, making Ichigo worry. "But you're hurt." Ichigo commented, getting a smirk as a response from the blonde. "Gee, I'm fine. I've taken worse hits than that from an old hag in her 50s. Besides, Naruto trailed off, raising his Zanpakuto in front of him. "It's been some time since I last used my Zanpakuto." Substitute Shinigami, eh? Crap, I screwed up. When the two of you split up back there, I should have gone after you. That would have saved me the trouble of having to deal with both you and that sage." Shrieker yelled, multiple leech bombs appearing around them and spitting leeches, with Shrieker releasing his frequency. "Ichigo." Rukia yelled, running and slamming her Shinigami glove into Ichigo's chest, freeing his Shinigami form. Naruto then grabbed Rukia and Ichigo's body and moved them out of the blast area while Ichigo jumped over it. "Where'd you go?" Shrieker questioned, not noticing Ichigo above him drawing his sword before dodging at the last second, blood coming from his cut arm. "Haha. You're too slow, but I can tell your soul is gonna be tasty." Shrieker said, his pets appearing at his side. "Say hello to my little friends." "Now I got it. You use these leech bombs to tie up Chad, then attack Naruto and Rukia. What a coward. Time to pay." Ichigo said in anger. "I couldn't agree with you more, Ichigo." Naruto stated, standing at said person's side. "The only price I'm gonna pay is indigestion after I eat 2 more Shinigami and you blondie." Shrieker stated. Just then, Chad with a saved Akichi showed up and saw Ichigo's body on the ground with Rukia standing over him. Looking on the other side of the river, he saw Naruto moving around and slashing at something. "Ichigo? Ichigo, what's wrong?" Chad asked in concern, getting Rukia's attention. "There you are. Don't worry about him, just get out of here with that Kakadil. Take it somewhere safe." Rukia ordered. "What's going on? What's with Ichigo and why is Naruto looking like he's attacking something?" Chad asked. "Don't worry about them. Ichigo is fine and he's with Naruto. They're fighting to protect us all." Rukia answered, watching the battle that Chad couldn't see. But Naruto and Ichigo. The two are seen having to dodge explosion after explosion from the leech bombs. They then run through the approaching creatures and cut through them. "Haha. Pretty good moves, but aren't you forgetting something? The leeches spilling from their guts are still live ammunition." Shrieker stated, extending his tongue out. He released his frequency, causing the leeches around the two to blow up. "Haha. Take that, you rookie Shinigami and old man sage. Shrieker yelled, only for his eyes to widen as Ichigo jumped out of the smoke with his sword raised. Shrieker tried to turn around to run, but found Naruto appearing in front of him. The hollow turned around towards Ichigo, only to find his Zanpakuto at his neck. Naruto followed up by placing his Zanpakuto on the other side of Shrieker's, giving the hollow no chance to escape. He would have finished him, but he wanted to know something, and the look in Ichigo's eyes said the same thing. Tell me, before we slice and dice you, you killed the mother of that boy inside the cocadial, didn't you? You might as well admit it, because either way, you're going down. Ichigo stated, surprising Rukia, and though Naruto didn't show it, he was surprised to hear that too. Is that true? Rukia asked Akichi, who looked down in sadness. I'm afraid it's all my fault. I just wanted to bring my mother back to life. Akichi said, close to tears. Akichi Chad said, not sure what to say. I didn't mean for those people to get hurt. If I'd known about that, I never would have done it. All I wanted was just to see my mother again. I'm sorry. Akichi apologized. Wait. Rukia said, getting the bird's attention. So you really accepted such a lie? That if you did what he said, then he could bring your mother back to life? How could you believe that? Rukia asked, disgusted at thought of an innocent boy being tricked by such a sick lie. Because he wanted to believe it. Shrieker answered in glee. You sick bastard. Naruto said, his eyes changing from his normal blue into red with slitted pupils. Yes, I killed the brat's mother back when I was still alive. You might have heard about me. I was all over the TV, the radio, everywhere. I was a famous serial killer. They never would have caught me either, I was too smart. I'd still be out there hunting today, but as it turned out, the kid's mother was my last score. She was a sweet one. I stabbed her 8 times and she ran and ran bleeding, and when she couldn't run anymore, she still tried to protect the kid. I really got off on it. But that's when everything went sour. I chased her onto the balcony and finished her off. Then that stupid kid grabbed my shoelaces. I lost my balance and went over the railing 20 stories down. Who'd have thought I'd get knocked off by a snot-nosed kid? Suddenly, I was dead, I was pissed, and I wanted payback. The punk kid was still alive, so I sucked out his soul and stuck it in the stupid cocadial. Then I made him a deal. I told him if he could run from me in that bird body for 3 months, I'd bring his precious mommy back to life. Shrieker concluded. How could you do that? Ichigo asked. He couldn't, Ichigo. It's impossible to bring someone back from the dead and even more against the laws of nature. This sick son of a bitch used Akichi as nothing but a plaything. Not only so he could chase him, but kill and devour all the people that tried to help him. Naruto growled out, trying to keep his anger in check as he inched his Zanpakuto closer to the hollow's neck, drawing blood. Am I right, you hollow scum? Yes, your boy. And every time he squeals and begs me not to hurt them and quit our little game, I use my clincher. Mommy's waiting for you to save her. Shrieker said, making Naruto and Ichigo tighten their grips on their swords so tightly they could draw blood at any moment. What a laugh, but it always works and he's off running again. Hahaha. Shrieker then grabbed their swords and used them as means to jump back, much to their anger. However, Naruto was lucky enough to cut off his arm. Shrieker ignored the pain though. Nice try, Blondie, but it's time to kill you too. Shrieker exclaimed, throwing 2 of his leech bombs at them, which Naruto cut one while Ichigo caught the other in a deadly vice-like grip, which caused leeches to get stuck on his hand. Your defense is weak, Shinigami. Before the hollow could even think, Ichigo ran at him and smashed a hole into his mouth, much to Shrieker's shock and fear. Naruto normally would have laughed at that, but he was in no mood to laugh right now. Now, he was in the mood to kill the hollow in front of him. What's wrong? Aren't you gonna detonate it now? Go ahead, just do that thing you do with your tongue. Ichigo said with grin on his face, but only got a gargling sound as a response, making Ichigo frown. Well, if you aren't gonna use it, I might as well take it from you. Ichigo then pulled his hand out and ripped Shrieker's tongue out of his mouth along with it, much to the hollow's pain. Before he could think or even speak, Naruto appeared in front of Ichigo with his Zanpakuto raised over his head and brought it down. This in turn cut through Shrieker's body like he was made of paper. However, instead of turning into Reishi, a green beam of energy shot out of him and a large set of doors with skeletons on them appeared behind him, much to Ichigo's shock. Whoa, what are those? Ichigo asked, never seeing such a thing before in his life. The gates of the underworld, or what people know as hell, but only he is going to see what they look like on the other side. As Zanpakuto can only wash away the sins of a person that has become a hollow, but not the sins of a person in life. Naruto answered, very much used to seeing the doors more than once. As Shrieker is yelling in unimaginable agony, a giant hand with a dagger came out and skewered him before bringing him inside. The gates then closed and shattered, as if they'd never even been there. Ichigo was silent for a moment before finally speaking. So that's the underworld. Ichigo commented, hoping to never have to see that place for himself. Later, Naruto, Ichigo, and Chad watch as Rukia tries to help Akichi, but can't. "What's wrong?" Ichigo asked. "I'm afraid there's nothing I can do. His chain of fate has been severed, there's no sign of it. Without it, there's no way I can return him to his body," Rukia said sadly. "Oh no," Akichi said, saddened at the knowledge. Naruto would have said something, but even he couldn't bring the dead back to life, and even if he could he wouldn't. He respected people and wanted them to rest in peace after their lives were over. That was the reason he never brought his friends and loved ones back to life, because it wouldn't be fair to them. They deserve to rest in peace after what they've gone through in life. He saw that Chad didn't know what to say either, which must have hurt since he was the only one nice to Akichi. He then turned back to Rukia, who was speaking to said bird. "Don't be sad. The Soul Society is a wonderful place that's very peaceful. You'll be happy there. You'll never be hungry and you'll never grow old. In fact, it's a much better place to live than this world," Rukia said, trying to cheer him up. Naruto couldn't help but facepalm at what she said. "Sigh Rukia, I know you're trying to be helpful, but Akichi doesn't care about that stuff. What he wants is to be with his mother again." "So now you're suddenly an expert on life in this world?" Ichigo commented dryly, leaning over her shoulder. "Wah?" Rukia questioned in confusion. "Anyway, you're missing the point here. When you finally pass over, you'll finally be reunited with your mother," Ichigo said, cheering Akichi up. "Ichigo's right Akichi. Maybe we can't bring your mother back to life, but she is on the other side waiting for you. And this time, it's really true," Naruto said, giving Akichi a friendly smile that spoke the truth. Ichigo Naruto Rukia whispered in awe of their words. Akichi then turned toward Chad, giving him a smile. "Mr. Sato, thank you for everything you did for me. You carried me everywhere in your arms and kept me safe, and you were even brave enough to face a terrible monster and protect me from it," Akichi said, very thankful to the gentle giant. "Don't even mention it," Chad stated, happy to have helped. "I guess it's time for me to go now. I don't know what else to say except thank you, all of you," Akichi said, his spirit appearing behind his caged form. "Akichi," Chad said, getting his attention and giving him a smile. "Someday, when I die and pass over too, would it be okay with you if sometimes I carried you around again?" Akichi smiled before nodding in agreement. Naruto, Ichigo, and Rukia smiled at the two's interaction. "Well then, if you're ready, let's begin the Kanzam," Ichigo said, unsheathing his sword. He kneeled down and tapped Akichi on the forehead with the hilt of his Zanpakuto, thus releasing his spirit. Akichi gave them all a smile before turning into a hell butterfly, which flew off for the Soul Society. Back at Ichigo's house, Karen is seen sleeping with a happy and relaxed smile on her face, somehow feeling that Akichi was finally able to pass over and rest in peace. It had been 3 weeks since Naruto had arrived to Karakura town and decided to help Ichigo and Rukia. Naruto had to admit it was actually a very interesting few days to him. First he showed up and watched a young substitute gain a Shinigami's powers and kill a hollow without any effort. Then got to spar against the sexy cat that held the title Goddess of Flash and even watched as Ichigo fought a hollow that he knew in life. Naruto had to admit that even though Ichigo didn't kill Sora, he definitely got past his own knowledge of what's underneath a hollow's mask. A few days later after that, he got involved in dealing with the conniving hollow that he and the others named Shrieker and sent him to hell where he belongs. Naruto still got a bad taste in his mouth just thinking about the hollow. Afterward, they finally freed Akichi and sent him to the Soul Society where he hopefully reunited with his mother. Finally, just an hour ago, he had to help Ichigo and Rukia deal with some faulty merchandise that Kisuke sold to Rukia. Apparently the lazy shopkeeper sold her some soul candy that was supposed to take care of Ichigo's body while he dealt with his Shinigami duties. However, the thing took Ichigo's body for what it called a test drive, or in other words, used Ichigo's body to perv on women like Orihime and Tatsuki. The damn thing even tried to pick a fight with him when he protected Orihime from him. He would have said the same thing for Tatsuki too, but he didn't really know who to protect at that moment since she looked like she was trying to kill him for kissing her on the cheek. Anyway, Naruto didn't like it, but he did show the mod soul not to pick a fight with him ever again, even if he was in Ichigo's body. Later, Urahara and his shopmates showed up and finally put a stop to the mod soul, but before he could take it to destroy it, Ichigo saved it, saying that it wasn't right to destroy him just because of what he was. Naruto actually had to respect Ichigo's decision at that time. After all, the mod soul was just as much a living thing like him or them, and destroying it would be like destroying him, since Jinchuriki were hated for what they were. So, while Ichigo and Rukia were walking back to his house, they put the mod soul in a stuffed lion they found and named him Kon, who decided to stick with them. Now, after school let out, Naruto was heading to Kisuke's shop. Apparently the shopkeeper wanted to speak with him about something important and Naruto, being the nice person that he was, decided to go and see what he had to say. Not to mention give him a piece of his mind about Kon. Kisuke better have a good reason for calling me at this time of day because I'm very ticked at him for what happened today. If he's just going to say some crap and waste my time, I'm gonna break his nose. Naruto said to himself, hands behind his head as he walked. Urahara shop. Naruto soon arrived at Kisuke's shop but stopped at seeing the hot-headed red-haired boy known as Jinta Hanakari picking on the timid black-haired girl known as Ururu Tsumijiya. He remembered the kids from the earlier today and his previous visit to the shop before. He was told that they both worked at the shop because they lost their families in a fire that burned down the building they lived in. Kisuke found them living on the streets after that incident and learned that they were able to see spirits. So, out of the kindness of his heart, he took them in as assistants and to keep them safe from hollows. Naruto really had to give the hat-wearing man credit. He might seem like a perverted slacker who lived the life of a hermit, but he had a kind and caring heart with hidden skill and power. In other words, he was the same as Jiraiya. Naruto watched as Jinta was pushing the end of a broom on poor Yoruru's head, yelling about what happened today being all her fault. He was going to sweep when he felt like it and that he was older than her and that she should mind her place. Naruto watched this long enough, walked up behind the unsuspecting Jinta and picked the boy up by the back of his shirt. "Hey, what the hell? Put me down." Jinta yelled, trying to get free from the blonde's grip. Naruto turned Jinta to face him and the red paled at the glare the blonde was giving him. "You mind explaining what you're doing to poor Ururu?" Naruto asked, making the boy gulp in fear. I was just teaching her a lesson." Jinta stammered out, scared of the blonde right now. "Really? Because from my point of view, you were just bullying her for no reason." Naruto stated, making the red glare a little before speaking. But there was reason." Jinta yelled, hoping the blonde would listen. "Is that right?" Naruto asked before turning to Ururu. "Ururu, what did you say to little Jinta here to make him pick on you?" "All I did was ask him to help me sweep the porch like Mr. Urahara asked of us, but Jinta was laying down instead." Ururu answered, getting nod from Naruto. "Figures," Naruto said before facing Jinta. "All she did was ask you to help her and you respond by poking in the head with the broom. Tell me, in what way did she deserve that, because I failed to see how she did." Jinta said nothing, not sure how to cover his actions from the blonde. Naruto put him down but kept a hand on his shoulder. "Sai, look, I understand if you don't like working and all, but that gives you no right to treat her that way. You and her are practically brother and sister, so the least you can do is be nice to her because a day will come that you two will need each other the most. So be nicer to her because she's just trying to look out for you like a good sister should, okay?" Naruto asked, getting a nod from Jinta. "Good, now how's about you get to sweeping so you can get done and relax later?" Naruto let him go and watched as the boy grabbed his dropped broom before sweeping the porch. Naruto smiled, knowing that he got through to the boy, even if he wouldn't admit it. Naruto then turned to Ururu and gave her a kind smile. That should keep him busy for a while. "Now Ururu, is Kisuke here?" Naruto asked. "Yes, he is, Mr. Uzumaki. Do you want me to get him for you?" Ururu asked, thankful for the blonde's help. Before Naruto could answer, another voice appeared from the doorway. "Don't bother Ururu, Kisuke wanted me to fetch Foxy for him." "Hello to you too, kitten. It's been a while since we last saw each other," Naruto said, turning to face Uruchi in her human form, though he noticed some pink on her cheeks from the nickname. "Yes, it has. Last time I saw you, Foxy, I passed out in your arms. You really gave me a fun time that night," Uruchi said, trying to tease him this time. "What can I say, I really know how to show a girl a good time. Though, sometimes the ladies say I'm too much. You know what I mean," Naruto teased, actually making Uruchi's blush increase at the meaning of his words. In the background, Jinta and Ururu overheard them and blushed at what the blonde said, not knowing that he and Uruchi were talking about their spar. "Why yeah, I know what you mean. Alright, so Kisuke is waiting for you in the underground training area. He says that he has something interesting to tell you," Uruchi stated, trying to get her blush under control. Got it. Thanks, kitten," Naruto said, passing her before stopping. "Also, if you ever need me to spar with you again or something else, you can call me anytime." Uruchi smirked at him, understanding his meaning. She wouldn't admit this, not even if her life were at stake, but she had developed a small crush on the very interesting blonde. She wouldn't call it love just yet, but the feelings she had were a start. However, even though she wanted to take him up on his offer, she couldn't. Not now anyway. "I'd like that, but maybe next time. I'm still sore from using my strongest attack on you," Uruchi said, getting a nod from the blonde. "Alright then, kitten, I'll see you in a bit. Let me know when it's dark out. It's always impossible to tell down here, you know," Naruto said before descending down the ladder. Uruchi watched him go, but even after he went down, she continued to stare. He really is a mystery. I wonder if he knows that Kisuke wants to spar with him this time. I just hope they don't kill each other. Kisuke might be lazy, perverted, and childish, but he's not to be taken lightly. Naruto on the other hand is unpredictable, powerful, and skilled. He even has a Zanpakuto that is still a mystery to us. Kisuke, you better be ready, because Naruto is not as easy to read as you think. Yuruchi thought in worry for the two. Underground training area. After climbing down the ladder, Naruto found Kisuke waiting for him patiently down below. The lazy shopkeeper gave Naruto a smile as he walked towards him. Ah, Naruto, right on time. I take it you're wondering what I brought you down here for, correct? Kisuke asked only to receive a hit on the top of his hat-covered head. Oh, what was that for? That really hurt. Good, it was supposed to. Ask for what it was for, you know damn well what it was for. You sold Rukia a dangerous item that took control of Ichigo's body and got him into a lot of trouble. Do you even know what he did at school or even around town for that matter? He could have gotten his body killed. Honestly, I should hit you again for that. Naruto yelled, while Kisuke held his aching head. Well, when you say it like that, Kisuke began, only for Naruto to place his hand in his face, stopping what he was going to say. However, if you hadn't done such a thing, then Khan would have ended up just like his brethren. Destroyed all because of what he is by the very people who created him. So, I can't be completely mad at you, because Ichigo saved the little guy's life. Naruto stated, making Kisuke understand why the blonde was saying this. Khan reminds you a lot of yourself, doesn't he? All because you're a Jinchuriki, people would rather have had you killed because of what you hold inside you over give you a chance to live. Kisuke said, getting a nod from Naruto. Yeah. But enough about my past for now, what did you call me here for? It certainly wasn't just to talk. Naruto asked, getting a grin from the hat-wearing man. Very perceptive, Naruto. You're right, I didn't just call you down here to talk. No, I called you down here for some training. Kisuke stated, getting Naruto to raise a brow in question. Training? For what? Naruto asked curiously, getting Kisuke to become serious. Well, you see, I've no doubt that sooner or later the Soul Society will notice Rukia's absence and send someone to investigate. I'm not saying that someone strong will show up, but it is a possibility. Kisuke stated, getting Naruto to nod in understanding. I get it. In case a powerful Shinigami shows up, you want me to watch over Ichigo and Rukia. However, there's no way of knowing just who the Soul Society will send, so you want to train me in fighting Shinigami in case that does happen. Naruto summed up. Exactly. Kisuke said simply. I understand you are powerful, but this is just a precaution to be on the safe side. Alright, I'll take you up on your training then, Kisuke. Naruto said, getting his fellow blonde to smile. Very good, but before we start, you should know this. In the Soul Society, or more specifically the Sarate, there are 13 squads, each with its own captain and lieutenant. These two Shinigami are known to be the strongest in the entire Soul Society. So, you have to be ready in case you should face them. Kisuke explained, getting a nod from Naruto. I got it now. You want to train me for when or if any of these people show up to find Rukia. In that case, I take it you were a captain or lieutenant once. Naruto asked. Yes, as matter of fact I was. I was the founder captain of Squad 12 or the Department of Research and Development. As the name implies, Squad 12 was responsible for doing research on all of its findings and developing technology for the Sarate. Kisuke said, making Naruto smirk. Oh? So you were the smartest man in the Soul Society, huh? Boy, I guess that was a long time ago. Naruto stated, making Kisuke face fault before jumping back up. What are you implying? I'm still plenty smart. Kisuke yelled childishly, making Naruto chuckle. I'm sure. So, how are we going to spar? Naruto asked, getting Kisuke to stop yelling and grin. Simple, we're going to fight with our Shikai. Even though it's rare for a captain to have to use his or her Shikai or even their Bankai, that doesn't mean that they will hold back if you're a powerful opponent. Kisuke explained, seeing that Naruto had narrowed his eyes at the mention of using his Shikai. Our Shikai? No offense, Mr. Hat and Clogs, but that might be a bad idea. I have no doubt in my mind that you are very skilled in your abilities, but I have to warn you that my Shikai is very powerful. Are you sure you want me to unleash its power? Naruto asked, knowing that if the man in front of him wasn't serious about this, he could very well die. I'm very sure. I have no doubt that it's powerful, but what better way to know how powerful it is than to test it against another's Zanpakuto? Especially as Zanpakuto of a former captain, I might add. Besides, I should warn you myself that my Shikai is nothing to be taken lightly either. So trust me, you're gonna want to use yours. Kisuke said, knowing not to let his guard down in this spar after hearing the blonde's warning. Very well then, if that's how you feel. Let's begin then. Naruto stated with a challenging grin, using a seal in his school uniform sleeve to change his clothes into his shinobi outfit and bring out his Zanpakuto. Kisuke smiled at his fellow blonde before grabbing the handle of his cane and unsheathing a thin blade from the shaft. Naruto actually thought that was a cool way to hide his sword but said nothing, wanting Kisuke to release his sword first. Awaken Benihim. Kisuke said, his sword transforming upon the release of its name. Kisuke's Shikai took the form of a sleek medium-sized sword. The hilt's grip, which has a gentle black decorative wrapping, bends forward at the end, with a pommel-shaped overlap 3 times and a crimson tassel dangling from its base. Instead of its tsuba, there is a U-shaped guard covering 3 inches of blade, with a flower petal design. At the base of the guard is a red string wrapped thrice around the hilt, with a 3-loop bow on the back side and a folded paper decoration on the front side. The blade's heimin is straight, colored black with a silver edge, and is somewhat thicker than the cane-sealed state. It remains straight and slim with a somewhat short size, with the tip ending in a slanted razor-like edge, instead of tapering to a point. This is my Zanpakuto, Benihim or Red Princess. Careful, she's got an explosive personality. Kisuke said, getting an impressed nod from Naruto. I must say, you have an impressive Zanpakuto, my friend. Now, to introduce my own. Naruto said before walking a good few feet away from Kisuke and drawing his sword. Burn forever Amaterasu. Upon the release of its name, the blade of Naruto's sword was covered by intense black flames. As a powerful Reiatsu was released, the black flames surrounded the blonde and large and wide expanding arcs. The release really reminded Kisuke all too much of head captain Yamamoto's Shikai, Rikyunjaka. The thought of having to face the old man's Shikai made the shopkeeper sweat. I see, so that's why he warned me about his Shikai. I must say its power is very similar to the old man's. I'm actually afraid of his Zanpakuto. If this is just from him releasing his Shikai, just what will I be in for when he attacks? I guess I'll find out. Kisuke thought, trying not to show any fear. This is my Zanpakuto. Say hello to Amaterasu or the sun goddess. Be warned, she has a fiery personality that could match your Benihim's explosive one. Naruto said, pulling the flames surrounding him back to his sword, thus leaving the blade covered in the black fire. Good evening, master. A feminine voice mentally greeted the blonde. My, it's been a while since you last used my Shikai. Does this mean I'm finally going to get to face a strong opponent? You bet, Amaterasu-chan. Get ready, because we're facing a former captain from the Soul Society. Naruto mentally stated, getting a nod from his Zanpakuto. Interesting. I must admit that I've never seen a Zanpakuto like that before, at least not one with black fire anyway. I'm curious though, how long did it take you to achieve your Shikai and master it? Kisuke asked, knowing that it couldn't have been easy to control such a powerful Zanpakuto. It took me a month to learn the name of my Zanpakuto and achieve her Shikai. It also took me at least a few more months to master her abilities. Ask for my Bankai, since I know that it's on your mind, it took me 3 years to gain and master. Naruto answered, the last sentence surprising Kisuke. That's amazing, my blonde friend. Not only for gaining and mastering your Shikai, but also in doing the same with your Bankai, which normally would take a Shinigami 100 years. To achieve it in such a short time is a very impressive feat. Kisuke complimented before raising his sword. But enough about that, let's begin our spar, shall we? The first to make his move was Naruto, who charged at Kisuke. Said shopkeeper quickly blocked the strike but was thrown back by the power behind the attack. Before he could regain his balance, Naruto shunpoed behind him with his sword ready to strike, but what he called surprised Kisuke. More shy. Naruto yelled, swinging his sword multiple times, each swing unleashing an arc of black flames. Kisuke quickly stomped his feet into the ground to slow himself down before he turned toward the upcoming flames and raised his Zanpakuto. Scream, Benihim. Kisuke yelled, unleashing a powerful arc of red energy that cut through the flames and hit Naruto. Before Kisuke could worry though, he dispelled into smoke. The real Naruto then appeared above him with his sword over his head. At this, Kisuke quickly blocked the attack, causing a small crater to form under him, while Naruto jumped off. They both stared at each other with a calculated look. I know what you're trying to do. Like me, you're trying to analyze your opponent. I'm not that easy to read, hat and clogs. Naruto stated, making Kisuke smirk. Oh, so you figured out my game, huh? I shouldn't be surprised, because you have lived longer than even me. Why wouldn't you be trying to analyze your opponents too? Kisuke questioned before watching Naruto create multiple shadow clones that surrounded the former captain. Let's see you block this, more shy. Each Naruto yelled, unleashing the same attack from before on Kisuke. Said shopkeeper continuously shunpoing out of the way, desperately dodging the arcs of black flames. Unfortunately, some got lucky and hit Kisuke from all sides, thus burning him to a crisp. However, they failed to notice the shadow above them. Shibari, Benihim. Kisuke yelled, slashing his sword toward the Narutos. From Benihim's blade length, a condensed energy in the form of an elongated and somewhat narrow tangible blood-red net launched itself over most of the Narutos and trapped them on the ground. The net then further bound them by constricting their forms. Kisuke landed at the end of the net and stabbed his sword into it. The Asobi, Beniham, Juzutsunagi. Kisuke said, creating orbs of fire along the outside length of the net, which exploded like linked landmines in a domino formation, leading toward the bound Narutos before exploding in a huge explosion. I wonder if I got him. Kisuke said to himself. Not even close. Naruto said, making Kisuke turn to him in surprise, not sensing him there. Rick and Muchi. After Naruto called forth the name, the black flames covering his blade expanded until they took the form of a long and menacing serpentine dragon that glared at Kisuke. The shopkeeper actually felt intimidated by the new technique but kept a calm face. This is my second powerful technique. You better hope that you can dodge or block at Kisuke Urahara because the upcoming attack will end this spar between us. Naruto said, ready to attack. Yes it will. Let's see what your attack can do. Kisuke said, ready to end their spar himself. Naruto reared his sword arm back before swinging it, thus whipping the flaming beast toward Kisuke. Scream, Beniham. Kisuke yelled, unleashing a much larger arc of red energy from earlier at the dragon. As the attacks clashed, the dragon roared before breaking through the red energy and headed right for Kisuke, whose eyes widened before lifting his sword in front of him. Scream, Chikasumi no Tate. Kisuke called, forming a hexagon-shaped crimson barrier in front of him. The dragon hit Kisuke's shield head-on and actually forced the blonde man to ground his feet into the dirt as the attack was more powerful than he had thought. Much to his shock, his shield began to crack. This isn't good. If my shield breaks I'm dead. Kisuke thought, his shield almost breaking. Before his shield could shatter though, the attack was stopped and the flaming beast was retracted back towards Naruto's sword, turning back into the black flames. Naruto watched as Kisuke panted, his shield disappearing into his blade. So, what did you think of my Shikai? Naruto asked with a grin, watching the man regain his breath. That was pant intense. I must say that I've never fought one like it before. If you continued to push with that last attack, you would have destroyed my shield and won for sure. Kisuke said, getting his breath back. True, but I didn't want to kill you. Naruto said before noticing that some black flames were on the edge of Kisuke's coat, to which the man was about to try and pat out with his hand. I wouldn't do that. Why not? It's only a candle-sized flame. Kisuke said, but decided to heed the warning. That may be, but I should warn you nonetheless. You see, the flames that make up my Shikai aren't like normal fire-type Zanpakuto. Unlike regular fire, these flames are as hot as the sun, but the most dangerous thing about them is that they can burn forever. Not even water can put them out. I'm the only one who can will them to continue burning or burn out, thus making it the most powerful fire-type Zanpakuto in existence. Naruto explained, waving his hand towards the flame on Kisuke, making it flicker out. I see. It's just like the technique of the same name that you told me about. The Amaterasu that the Uchiha clan could use. Kisuke said, both sealing away their Shikai before walking back toward the ladder. Actually, my flames are different. The black flames of the Uchiha could only burn for a few days, but mine from my Zanpakuto can burn endlessly. Naruto said. Interesting. Anyway, I do hope that you learned something from our spar Naruto, because I was going easy on you. If you should face the captains or other Shinigami, they will not hesitate to try and kill you. Kisuke warned. Yes, I know. I have learned that a captain can be much more powerful than other Shinigami I've ever seen before. Don't worry though, despite that fact, I'm more than capable of handling myself. Naruto stated, getting a smile from Kisuke. Good to hear. Now, you might want to hurry home and get some rest, you do have school after all. Kisuke stated, making Naruto groan. Yeah, I know. Naruto said as they started climbing back up the ladder. Karakura High School. The next day at school, Naruto is seen walking into the classroom and taking his seat while other kids talked about art class. However, his eye was drawn to the guy with raven hair and glasses sewing something together. He could sense Ryatsu coming from him. Who's that? I sensed his Ryatsu before, but this is the first time I actually saw him. Could he be a Shinigami? No, I'd think Rukia or Kisuke would have informed me if there was another Shinigami other than themselves, the Vizards, and Ichigo. Still, I shouldn't take my eye off that guy. Naruto thought, watching as the guy turned toward the door and narrowed his eyes at Ichigo, making Naruto suspicious of him. Hey, good morning Ichigo. Orihime called cheerfully, getting Ichigo to turn to her with a friendly smile. Hi Orihime, how's it going? Ichigo said kindly, surprising some of the people who heard, Naruto included. Ichigo nice. What's going on here? Naruto questioned out loud, getting Totsuki's attention. I'm not sure, but wait Naruto, what's the date today? Totsuki asked. June 16th, why? Naruto asked before noticing Totsuki tense ever so slightly before putting a hand on her shoulder. Totsuki, what's wrong? It's nothing. I just know why Ichigo's acting nice today. He might look and act like he's happy, but he's actually very tense about tomorrow. Totsuki stated, confusing Naruto. He might have been able to read people's body language, but Ichigo was hiding his emotions very well right now. Why? What's happening tomorrow? Naruto asked before watching Tatsuki tense again. It's none of my business to tell you or anyone else, but tomorrow is the day Ichigo's mother died and him and his family are going to go visit her grave. Tatsuki said, making Naruto's eyes widen in surprise at the unexpected knowledge. He said nothing as he watched Ichigo interact with his friends. Naruto could understand why Ichigo was acting the way he was now. He might have been cheerful, funny, and kind now, but when the situation called for it, he could be serious. However, he still held sadness at the loved ones he's lost over time and swore on his very life to never forget them. He would always remember them and pray for them on a specific date as well. He chose to pray for them on his birthday, October 10th. The day he was born, since that was the day his very life was to begin being written and still is. His story won't end until he dies. Naruto was broken out of his thoughts by Ichigo, never noticing that Tatsuki had walked off while he was thinking. Hey Naruto, I've got a favor to ask you. Ichigo said, getting a nod from the blonde. Could you take up my Shinigami duties tomorrow? I know that Tatsuki already told you why I need this favor, so could you do this for me? Sure thing Ichigo, I understand clearly why you'd ask this of me. Naruto said. Thanks, I knew you would. Ichigo said thankful before walking off. Yeah, I really do. Naruto said sadly, remembering all that he's lost. The Soul Society. In the Rukongai district of the Soul Society, a Shinigami is seen playing with some kids in a game of tops. Oh? Knock that one out. Go on, get him. The Shinigami exclaimed before watching his top get knocked out of the ring. I lost. Wait, one more time okay. I bet I don't lose this time. Before they could play again, a hooded Shinigami appeared, catching the man's attention. Is something the matter, mister? One of the kids asked. I forgot about something I need to attend to. The man said, making the kids frown in sadness. But we want to play more. A little girl said before he handed her his top. This'll help. He said, getting the kids to smile before running off to play elsewhere. The man then turned serious and followed the hooded Shinigami into an alley. So tell me, who is it today? The man asked his fellow comrade. Rukia Kichiki from Squad 13. The hooded one answered. Kichiki? The man said, remembering the clan name before smirking. What offense has that young lady committed? She has stayed for far too long in the world of the living. The hooded one answered. Is that all? The man asked. I wouldn't be talking to you if that were all. There's something else going on out there. Find out what it is. The hooded one stated. So you're saying I can get rough if I have to? The man asked as his fellow Shinigami walked past him. Take care of it, quickly. The hooded one stated before he shunpoed away. I will. Rukia Kichiki. The Shinigami said to himself.